Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool.
I'm not a sci-fi fan person.
No, I'm not either.
But it depends.
Menace looks grimdark, though. Like, if it's going to be gritty, sort of... Like, it doesn't have to be cowboys like Firefly, but the sort of... There is spaceships and the like, but the technology's so, not so ridiculously advanced that it's still relatable. It's like, it's just... We have FTL, and then maybe a few advanced things, that's about it.
Or it's Warhammer, where it's so advanced that it's basically fantasy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Although even Warhammer 40k, I'm not nearly as much a fan of as the fantasy. You can do a lot with the 40k. Like, there's stories that take place on medieval planets and stuff even. But yeah.
And even with that, like, the using melee weapons...
I think the problem with... My problem with sci-fi tends to be, first of all, it's not rooted in mythology. So there's no grounding a lot of the time. And if it's really, like if it's Larry Niven and it's very hard sci-fi, then it's kind of dry. So even if it does have a grounding, it's a scientific grounding, which is boring. Like a mythological grounding in the future. There's a few books that do that.
Dune?
Dune's basically just fantasy.
Yeah, it's a fantasy wearing a sci-fi skin suit.
Yeah. But there's a guy, I forget his books, but he wrote 2 series. One is about a sci-fi world where people have become so advanced that they've become the Indian gods. And they just... It's called...
They're all just LARPing?
Heralds of the Dark Sun or something like that? I can't remember. Yeah, they're all LARPing as Indian gods. But they've been LARPing as Indian gods for like 10,000 years. To the point where they consider themselves the gods, basically.
Yeah.
And then he has another one where it's a fantasy world, but like they get invaded by aliens or something. And they're both... I found them really boring.
Yeah, well, the Wizard series are sci-fi.
Yeah,
but they take place on medieval planets.
They're not sci-fi though,
Yeah.
really. Like the Wizard and Rhyme and the Rogue Warlock series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Stasheff, I think. But then, there's no grounding in the future for... And that's the reason I also don't like really out there fantasy worlds a lot of the time. Like Brandon Sanderson's, well, most of his worlds really, to be fair. But especially his Way of Kings world.
Yeah.
If it wasn't such a fantastic series.
What are your thoughts then on the Keys to the Kingdom?
Keys to the Kingdom. I really like it. That's interesting. Sorry, I was thinking of different book by the author.
The Towers?
No.
Everson, Old Kingdom?
No.
That's not him, anyways. That's a different author, isn't it?
No, it's the same guy.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
He did Keys to the Kingdom and...
Yeah.
Garth Nix did both of those?
Yeah.
Man, he's one of my favorite authors.
Yeah, no. He did the Seven Towers series. Yeah. He did... Oh, yeah. Keys to the Kingdom and the Old Kingdom are 2 different series.
Yes.
Keys to the Kingdom is the Arthur, with the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking... Yeah, the Keys to the Kingdom then. Yeah, I really like it. And that's interesting. There's...
There is basically, like, there's 7 Deadly Sins. He is Arthur Pendragon.
But then I also really like the Edge Chronicles.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't like the Cade Chronicles as much, I think. I don't like it when it goes sort of Renaissance and beyond. I like the Lost in... I think what it is, the mythological foundation of the Edge Chronicles is not any of the creatures, even though they have names like wraiths and waiths and trolls and orcs and whatever. There's no orcs,
goblins.
But goblins. I don't think those are really the normal mythological creatures you think of. But what I think is going on there is the mythological foundation is the woods are dangerous, stay on the path. That is a myth, right? You don't know what you find in the woods. That's kind of the key point of it, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about the series until the Rook trilogy was the untamable nature of the Deep Woods.
Yeah.
It was like you could try, but you would always fail. But then the Shrikes eventually actually start succeeding in taming the
Twilight Forest.
The Twilight Forest and the rest of the world by proxy, because then they unlock this huge power source, which is it's an equivalent story to like the UK. It was this land of dark forests, and now they have basically no trees.
Yeah.
And they have no predators. They have It's one of the safest places on Earth besides humans. Like if you don't get attacked by a human there, you're not going to get attacked by anything else, basically.
Except maybe a big cat.
Yeah.
Or a dog.
Yeah, but even the wildlife there, it's hugely reduced. They don't have, lions, that was like 10,000 years ago. But they don't have lions anymore.
They don't have wolves.
They don't have wolves. They don't have bears.
Yeah.
The Romans killed all the bears, I think, and then the people killed all the wolves.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they even have poisonous snakes or anything.
They have one poisonous snake.
St. Patrick, he did a number on the Isles.
Yeah, no, they have. I think they have the Black Adder or something. That's like a poisonous snake potentially.
Makes
I don't
sense.
know. They have one poisonous snake, and it's like semi-poisonous. Like it bites you, you're going to get pretty sick. It might take out old person.
So going back to the Keys to the Kingdom, then you like it obviously. Like
Yeah.
I think they're like Garth Nix. He's not okay. Garth Nix. Let's actually his books in general. They tend not to be traditional fantasy. And then did you read Shade's Children?
I didn't read Shade Children, but I read A Confusion of Princes, which is a different sci-fi book he did, and it was interesting, but I didn't really like it. It was so sci-fi. It was like there was 3 different super technologies, and the humans were really good at one. Then there were 2 alien races that each was good at the other, but the humans were the best overall. And it was just weird. Like, I had no relative relation to it. Like, all the technology was so weird. Everything going on was weird. It was just a bizarre story.
Have you read The Reg Witch by him?
No, I haven't read The Rage Witch either.
I don't think I did either.
Or is it The Rage Witch?
I think it was Reg.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
And then he also did a couple of side stories. He did Clara.
Yeah, Clara the Mask, which...
Or Clariel, I guess it's called.
Clariel is kind of weird.
And then he did
Beyond the Wall, he did the story with Golden Hand, which I haven't read yet.
that's the Keys to the
Kingdom. The
Kingdom
Golden Hand is still Old Kingdom.
Right,
He
Old
wrote
Kingdom.
a bunch of Old King. I've read every Old Kingdom but one book, which is about Golden Hand.
Right. And yeah, and then he wrote Shade's Children.
Yeah.
Which is a sci-fi set in the world where adults are used to power machines, basically.
Yeah. And there's a... Shade is trying to take care of a bunch of children.
Shade owns an orphanage, basically.
Yeah.
And he's the only adult left on Earth.
Yeah.
Or the only adult that isn't a deathbot, basically. Yeah. It's kind of... I don't know if it ever actually goes into it. This isn't really spoilers because it's not really what it's about. Like, or they never discover why there's all these deathbots and what they're doing. And
But isn't Shade like a android AI?
yes, I think so.
Or, like, they never even see his body. He's just like this off-side AI talking to them.
Or he's a man who's supported by an AI. It's something along those lines. There's something off about him. I think it's revealed at the end what he is. But I think... Oh, yeah, I remember what he is now. Yeah. But I won't say, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, he looks after them, and then they die when they're 18 anyways, basically.
Yeah, I need to go through the Tower Kingdom and the Tower book and the Keys to the Kingdom books again, because I read them when I was young and I don't quite remember them. And they're weird kind of fever dream books anyways.
So the question there is, what is he doing? I think Animorphs do it as well. Sort of. Animorphs is too long. Like, you kind of lose the plot after 40 books.
Yeah.
But I think her other series is much more tight in a lot of ways. The, what's it called? The Everworlders?
I don't know.
It's about a bunch of kids get transported to another world, and they find...
Treehouse?
No, that's Kenneth Opel. This is K.A. Applegate.
Okay.
So in her other series, they get transported to this other world, and early on, I think it is, they meet this race. I think they're dwarves or goblins or something, and they can forge basically mithril. They can make the best. Yeah. They can make a weapon that can cut through anything. They enchant your stuff, but the only blade they have on them is like a little Swiss Army knife. Yeah. So they have the Swiss Army knife that can cut through anything. And it's a brutal... Like, a lot of people die in it. Like, K.A. Applegate, she doesn't...
hold back.
After her last Animorphs book came out, which I don't know if you know what happened, but one of the main characters dies, and like the world's horrible, and a bunch of horrible things happen.
It's horrible to start with. Yurts are awful.
I think
coming up with those creatures, God.
I think there's even like Jake or someone, like he just becomes suicidally depressed basically because after the war he's so shocked by the war, and people complain like crazy. And so she wrote a letter to all her fans, and she said, "Yeah, the point is that war is terrible. If you thought this would be a happy ever ending, you haven't been paying attention. This is a war."
So all like even the series before, it's not lighthearted. Animorphs. Animorphs is depressing.
Yeah, but you always thought, oh yeah, they come out in the end. But I don't know. You know that Terry Pratchett thing. That quote I always like. Let there be heroes at dawn. Let there be swords at the last moment. You know, like you can have giant cockroaches and goblins and spiders, but let there be hope.
Yeah.
I read this book. It was called The Swan's War, and it's this massive trilogy. It's okay. It's kind of like one of those 80s Lord of the Rings ripoffs. Yeah. Like 3 people go off on an adventure, or more like a Wheel of Time ripoff, actually. 3 people go on this great big adventure and they come home. And actually very similar to Wheel of Time. There was even a dour blacksmith and everything. but it's a lot more grounded than Wheel of Time. It's a much more low fantasy world. And they go on these adventures, and they're faced with hardship and danger and sadness and sorrow. And the series ends. They're like, yay, we won. And then the prologue is like 3 years later. And the wizard fellow who guided them around, he's more like a bard in the classical bard sense of, like he knows things.
Yeah.
He actually has a super... He's the only person, I think, with a magical power in that world, if I remember correctly. And it's that he can walk paths that no one else has seen.
Yeah.
So if there's a cliff that you know like the back of your hand,
yeah.
He'll be like, oh yeah, there's a little goat trail if you just come this way up. And then suddenly there's a new path there, basically. And so he comes back to their town where he got them all, and he's like, so, and he's talking to two of them, and he's saying, so where's the blacksmith guy? You know, it's been a while. What's going on with him? He went out walking on the ice last winter and fell through. And just tragic accident. It's like, oh, yeah. Whole family of fishermen, ice fishermen. They always knew the exact thickness of the ice. It was like preternatural, basically. Tragic accident. It's like the guy just killed himself, basically, is the suggestion. He just drowned himself. And it's like, oh, okay. Thanks for that. But let's go back to the kids. Yeah. So the kids' books. There seems to be... I'm trying to think any that aren't Garth Nix. Edge Chronicles, obviously.
I mean, it's slightly related. The Stones in the Belt.
Oh yeah, Del Toro Quest.
Del Toro Quest. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another series where it's very unusual, but it feels
it's unusual, but also very based in mythology.
Feels very grounded somehow.
I mean, he's literally the orphan son of a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Or the son of a blacksmith. He's not even the orphan son of a blacksmith.
Yeah. I think his mom's alive. I can't remember.
No, both of them were alive at the start.
Well, yeah, at the start. That's how orphans start out.
Yeah. But I mean, at the start of the book, even, not even in the prologue.
Right. But,
yeah, Del Toro Quest is one of my favorite parts of Del Toro Quest, which is also, it's dark but really cool. And not a lot of series have this. Maybe they did at some point. Is the dark one, or the evil that took over the world, is immortal and all-powerful. And what's the line? Like, 1,000 years is a blink of... Or 100 years is a blink of an eye to his hate and anger.
Yeah, 1,000 years, yeah.
1,000 years. And it's... The belt of Del Toro keeps him at bay. That's it. They don't beat him. You can just keep him at bay.
In the sequel series, they actually take the fight to him. They go through this horrible...
I read that.
Yeah.
They kind of take the fight to him.
Yeah. But then they assemble the pipe instead of the belts.
And that can just mess with him more.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't beat him. He's like the fundamental evil you have to keep at bay.
And I'm thinking, I think she also wrote Rowan of Rin. I think that was her. Which, it's much more standard fantasy, and I don't actually like it that much. So, and okay, what about Harry Potter? Harry Potter takes place in the modern world. Takes place in the 90s. But it's so far removed from society for the most part. Well, it's not though. They take buses and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a matter of just being really well written.
Well, that's part of it. I think it is honestly relatability. Like a lot of sci-fi, you literally just can't relate to.
You ever read the Pendragon Cycle? It's there's like 10 alternate Earths, and the main character can travel between them.
And there's the Aztecs, and they're trying, and the people
they have like
live
an
on
explosive gum. Is that what you're thinking?
The people live on a hidden 8th day that was sealed in time.
I don't think so.
Okay, sorry. There's a book which uses Pendragon stuff, and that's in it. But okay.
No, the Pendragon Cycle. It's this guy. He has the ability to go to alternate Earths, and there's 10 of them, and one of them is in the future, and one of them is in the past.
No, not familiar.
And so he can time travel as well as go to these alternate realities. And that one is kind of neat as well, in terms of... So what makes it click? What
I think, like I said, it's relatability, and mythology can be a help to relatability, but it doesn't need to have that mythology. So really, really good writing, like the Harry Potter, will have relatability.
But then why does sci-fi could be relatable too, you'd think? So what turns us off of sci-fi more often?
Well, I think that's us. Like, sci-fi used to be more popular than fantasy. It could literally just be us. And
yeah,
like sci-fi TV shows, I really like Star Trek, that's TNG.
Yeah, I don't really like Star Trek or I like Star Wars a bit more probably, just because, like, in theory, I haven't actually ever watched it, I don't think, but I like the set pieces
Yeah.
of Star Wars. Yeah, I like the idea. Although that said, I've been playing Knights of the Old Republic and haven't actually enjoyed it that much.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people loved the BioWare's change into more cinematic storytelling games like Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic, but I really think it was a step backwards from Baldur's Gate.
What about Dragon Age Origins? It's like kind of on the in-between, apparently, of the two.
Yeah, I think that I don't like... I think I prefer Baldur's Gate to Dragon Age Origins, for sure. And then, if I was making a tier list of CRPGs, it would... Of the games I've played, it would probably be near the bottom.
Origins?
Yeah. It does some really neat things in theory, but I don't like how stiff all the characters are. Like, you can't really make your own party. You sort of just get what you get. And... It's much more character focused. The start is interesting where you start in a different region based on who you are.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the only really major diverging thing in the game.
Not entirely, but...
Well, that's the only thing where it's a totally different story. I mean, you are thrust into the world, I guess, so you kind of have to go for it.
The story can be quite different later on. You didn't get quite far into the game.
I've watched a complete playthrough of the whole thing. But like an overview, not a play-by-play, but I've seen a complete overview of the whole thing. But I don't like I guess the King's Chamber you can do quite a bit there when you're talking to him. And
yeah, it's really, really hard to try to save the evil guy's life. It's actually, I think it's dependent on your character's gender if you can save his life or not.
Or someone has to be dead before you can or something.
Well, no, someone has to be dead or it's your gender affects it.
Right. Yeah, I think the main problem I have with Dragon Age Origins, it's not the storytelling's pretty solid for that game, I think. I think it's the combat. I think because they gave you the option. They made it for consoles.
Yeah.
And then but you can't, the console version and the PC version are actually two different versions. Because you can't have the same tactical combat on the console version as you have on the PC version, but the PC version also has the console, sort of you just hit things and watch numbers go, explode, basically. And it's more about tuning your AI to follow commands. And I don't like that combat. I much prefer Baldur's Gate's combat, of the push pause.
Yeah. Because
Dragon Age is kind of this weird... They couldn't commit either way.
Yeah.
Like, I think Knights of the Old Republic...
You know, what's funny is the later Dragon Age games really lean more into the slappy hit, and like the pause becomes far less important in their two layer games. And people hate them for that because they got rid of that.
The later Dragon Age.
Yeah, Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age 3, like they still have the pause, but it's far more dumbed down. The amount of spells you have is far more dumbed down. Like the amount of tactics is dumbed down. And the games both did relatively well, I think. But they're still nowhere near in the same regard for even the gameplay as the first one.
Like, I think Inquisition did it better than Origins, actually. Like, they just gave up on it. They didn't entirely.
Yeah.
But I think they should just throw out the push pause combat altogether and just go full into, like, action RPG,
I like
The Witcher type stuff.
I think it's good if you do it in the same way that Final Fantasy has changed. Which is, from what I understand, Final Fantasy is you actually do have like dodgy roll, combat hit, whatever, Witcher style thing. Then you can hit pause and you can select really big spells and abilities to use, which are quite important at the right moment.
Yeah.
And then
I don't like that kind of combat, typically. Because it kind of...
breaks the flow.
It's actually that I don't want to have to do tactical stuff if it's real time. And if I want to... The reason I like tactics games is because you can sit back and go, Like, that's why I like them. I like being able to take my hand off the mouse.
Yeah.
And I like action games because you get into a flow. And so I generally do not like a mix of that. That said, for a while there, Has Been Heroes was one of my favorite games, which is very much a mix of, like... I haven't played in so long, and it's such a weird game, it's hard to describe, but it's kind of a mix of, like, nowadays you'd say, like, Vampire Survivors and Slay the Spire, almost. But...
So... Yeah, so the story of the fantasy, like, beyond the gameplay.
Yeah, but going to Knights of the Old Republic again, just to... I think the main problem I have with Knights of the Old Republic, possibly, is that you start in this giant city.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to see but corridors and...
Yeah, well...
And sewers and...
The Star Wars set pieces, they're cities, actually. Not even their set pieces. They're cities. I've never liked Star Wars cities. They're big and cluttered and...
Have you ever played the Battlefront remakes, the Star Wars Battlefront remakes?
Yeah.
those games are beautiful. But they take place in the wilderness.
Yeah, the wilderness is like, and that's one of the things with like aesthetically is Star Wars is a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And the fantasy, I like codifying force powers. I think is a really bad idea.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's why I don't like. I was actually going back. That's why one of the reasons I don't like sci-fi is because they tend to explain themselves a lot. Like you need an explanation for this, you need an explanation for this, and that's where Brandon Sanderson comes in.
Yeah,
because he does that with magic.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's a good idea, because what happens, especially, is you get a case like
copycatting,
where the warlord Denethor, but actually not Denethor. The Bondsmith in Way of Kings.
Oh, yes.
You have that moment where he has his Deus Ex Machina moment in the third book.
Yeah.
Without spoiling what he does. But he does a little, look for me coming on the third day type scenario. And on the one hand, Brandon Sanderson says, oh yeah, I have rules for everything, so it's all above board. But it was the most, like, they're losing everything and suddenly they win out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, what's the point of having your hard sci-fi if you're going to do that?
Yeah.
Your hard fantasy or your hard magic. Like, Gandalf never did anything like that. The biggest feat Gandalf ever did was fight Sauron to a standstill for like 3 days. And that was off screen. Sauron, sorry. He fought Sauron to a standstill for like 3 days.
Yeah, no, it's like, but Sauron. No.
Yeah. No, he lost to Sauron in a little breakdance battle right off the bat.
In actual things that we get to see Gandalf do magic-wise,
he when he seals the gate from Durin's Bane.
He seals the gates from Durin's Bane. He obliterates the bridge. He shot lightning at the Nazgul.
Does he shoot lightning at the Nazgul?
So it's weird. I just got to that bit. I'm listening to the Fellowship again. So the Fellowship are traveling through swamps, or not even Fellowship. It's the four hobbits, Bill the Pony, and Strider.
Right, and they see flashing light on the hill.
Yeah, they see off in the distance flashing light, and Strider's like, what is that? And Strider goes, I don't know, it's strange. I can't make it out from here. It looks like lightning coming up from the hill and traveling to the clouds. And it carries on for a little bit. And then when they get there, they see scorch marks everywhere, and it looks like lightning struck places. Then when they talk to Gandalf, he was on Weathertop fighting the 9 Nazgul by himself.
But they're wizards too, right? They could have been... Well, they're not wizards, but they're sorcerers.
I think he was actually fighting only 7 of them. I don't think the king was there when he fought.
But they could have been casting spells too, potentially. But yeah, I guess that would be a feat he did.
That sort of scene, like that feat is sort of scene.
Yeah. And although the sealing the gate against the Balrog, he actually fails at. So that's not quite as impressive. I think actually his biggest scene might be when he defeats... Aragorn in a fight.
Oh yeah, makes his sword
too hot to
blaze and Gimli's axe fall, and Legolas shoots an arrow at him and it burns up in the air or something.
I think his string might just snap. I don't remember. Yeah. I think in the movie he deflects the arrow or something, which he could probably do. But
well, also there's points and times where it's implied he can do magic. He just doesn't. Yeah, like when Butter burns a great part where Butter burns like oh no, I've really messed it up. He's going to turn me into a stump. And then he's angry about Butterburn. It's like, I will roast him and make all his butter melt out. And I was like, oh, it wasn't so that bad. So he blesses Butterbur. And it's like, well, your ale will be good for now on. And his ale is good after he gives him that blessing. That's actually a pretty big magical feat, as he makes that year particularly excellent.
Yeah, I think...
Like, his magic's so subtle.
Yeah, and so I really don't think the software's hard there. Like, Lord of the Rings is soft magic by Brandon Sanderson's standard, but you don't expect Gandalf to appear out of nowhere and... Like, even the whole look to my coming... First, that was Éomer that did that, not Gandalf, I think. But, no,
it was Gandalf. He went to find
him. No, Éomer was actually in Helm's Deep in the books. He wasn't with Gandalf. In the movie, he's with Gandalf, but in the books, he's actually in Helm's Deep.
No, he wasn't in Helm's Deep. He was banished. He wasn't in Helm's Deep.
Wasn't it his... Was it him that was banished? Or was
it was him that was banished.
Okay. But then he comes back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A different series, the Dragonbone Chair, which you have now, I think.
Well, I have the third book or something, right?
No, I gave you the first book.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
Its magic is all... Like, you realize the time, their thoughts of magic was different. Like, you know, how both Denethor and Faramir can look into people's eyes and mind read them?
Yeah.
Like, that was sort of one of the thoughts, that's what magic is. And Dragonbone Chair, like, that magic is basically that. Like,
Magic is magical, yeah.
yeah, it's this weird force that is subtle and strange and terrible.
Now, I think what you can do with the hard magic is you can have it, but you don't make it a scientific study in the world. You don't say, okay, this is this rule, and explain it.
Well, it's one of my rules for magic, if you want proper magic, is magic exists in a quantum state. It's funny, this is applying harder rule to magic, but it's know how electrons, when you try to observe them, they can be one area. Well, they can be anywhere, and then when you observe them, they go to one spot.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. It's like the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So magic, you observe it and you write it down. So
it's more like they're in a waveform, and then the waveform collapses to a point.
Yeah. So anyways, with magic, right? So you make a potion. I've explained this before. So you have a potion. It's a magic potion. And you drink it one time, and it heals you. Then you drink it the next time, and it makes your hair grow longer. Then you drink again, and it heals you. And then you start tracking it. And it's like, okay, so it has 50 hair long, 80 heals. So we can now conclude that, like, this is a percentage that's magic works. Then you drink it again, and your feet explode.
Yeah.
And then someone else tries to replicate your study, and it only makes their hair grow longer. Like, it's...
Yeah, well, The Soldier's Son has an explicit line where by Robin Hobb, where she says, if you strike a flint against a rock and you get a spark, that's magic. If it does it every time, that's science.
Yeah. On magic, I actually did have a question for you. So, in mythology, there's lots of magic items. I was curious, if you could have any one of them, which one would you take?
Oh, the dead man's pants, obviously. Easy.
Is this a fantasy item? Or is this a magic... Like, I'm talking about mythology.
Yeah, no, this is in mythology. So, this is in Icelandic and Norse mythology.
Okay.
So, when a man dies, you need his permission to do this. Yeah. Then he dies, and you skin him. And you turn his legs into pants. And then you hollow out his ball sack, and you store coins in there. But you have to steal the coin from a beggar. So you have to steal a copper coin from a beggar, and you put it into the ball sack. And then whenever you reach into your purse in your dead man's pants, you will always have the correct amount of money for whatever you want to buy.
You could just get dripping.
Right, but drip. You know, you have to take the fashion into account. Oh, the other thing is you can't take the pants off. It's impossible. The only way you can remove the pants is you have to go to someone else and you have to give them to them. But because, you know, a lot of mythologies, they end there, right? Like you can only give them away. But then the Norse, they were looking for loopholes. They're like, yeah, well, what if, you know, you give them away and then you shoot the guy as he's about to put the pants on or so no. To give the pants away, you have to take them off of one leg, and then the other person has to put them on one leg, and then you take it off your other leg, and then they put it on their other leg. So you have to share the pants for a brief moment. No, okay, so...
Like, you could get the dripping, you could get the genie of the lamp. Although when I was thinking of this question, I might exclude Arabian Nights from it, because those are just bedtime stories that she was telling.
Oh, so they have to be real magical items.
Well, that's sort of my thought, because those are just made-up stories. So I might exclude the Arabian Nights.
Okay, so they have to be real mythological items. Okay.
Well, like, not super real, but like we don't have to go with Excalibur or like hunting's allowed.
Is Excalibur allowed?
Yes.
Like Arthur's stuff?
Yeah. And a part of it is you own them, because you know recently Durandal or Excalibur was stolen in France.
Durandal?
So the sword Spain? That was thrown into...
That's in Spain, right?
Sorry, the one that they have in France then.
Oh, Charlemagne's sword.
Yeah.
That's also Durandal, I think.
Yes.
I think there might be several of them.
Yeah, so Durandal was stolen.
Yeah.
And people are saying, no one will buy that. Because if a descendant of Charlemagne is not using it, you're going to die.
Well...
It's cursed.
Now, you say it was stolen, right?
Yeah.
But it seems to me...
maybe the only person who could have taken it is someone who should have it.
Yeah, maybe it was needed. Maybe it wasn't stolen. Maybe it was...
Yeah.
Maybe it was finally taken
Anyways, what my point being is, if you get Excalibur, not only are you undefeatable in battle, you are the king of Britain.
Didn't they just have a socialist party win in France in their election? Maybe
it will be. Maybe a Charlemagne-esque hero wielding that sword will show up.
Maybe the new president, I think they have, of France.
They don't have a new president yet. That election comes later.
Okay, but the Socialist Party leader, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he is Charlemagne's true heir, and he had to come to power in order to take the sword.
When they have presidential elections later,
so the party comes in and then the president?
Yeah, so the party comes in with the prime minister and then the presidential elections later.
Oh. And do the parties elect the president, or
no, people elect the president?
Ah, so that's like Germany does that too.
Yeah,
I kind of prefer that system. I think because like if you had a really good local party that's part of a party you don't like, you know, kind of gives you that option.
Yeah. Anyways, like maybe the new presidential candidate will just show up with the sword. But yeah, so you get what's entitled to you. If you choose Excalibur, you are King of Britain.
Okay.
With these magic item, the one that you choose.
Okay, so if you choose some. Like if what's it called?
Like if you choose the lightning bolt of Zeus, you're not going to be Zeus, but you have the responsibility of the annihilation device.
If I took like the black sword, the Volcron or whatever it's called, the sword which always must kill before it can be sheathed again.
Yeah.
Am I like doomed to like a tragic life basically then too?
Yeah.
Okay. So don't take cursed objects.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if they have really cool, like you always, because
like
I think
the ring. Fafnir's ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's cool, but I think it's cursed, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So any item, eh?
Yeah. But yeah, actually, Fafnir's ring's up there, one of the items to take.
Just makes you invisible.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I thought it could also turn you into a dragon.
No, that was his greed in Alice that turned him into a dragon.
Okay.
And also dwarves are shapeshifters, which might be part of it. But
okay.
I think it was just his greed.
So Fafnir's ring just turns you invisible?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think...
Like, you could get the Nemean lion pelt, you could get the sheath of Excalibur.
I'd take the tapping hammer of that little raccoon god in China.
What does that do?
You tap it and you get whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. So my answer to this is the Dagda's Cauldron.
The Black Cauldron.
Actually, that's what the Dagda's Cauldron is.
You want an army of undead to serve you.
So this is what's interesting about the Dagda's Cauldron.
No, I want his staff.
What? You can kill 7 people by swinging it once, or you can bring someone back to life by tapping them?
Yeah, you just whack yourself in the head, perfect health. As long as you hit the side right.
So, no, it's a tap with one end to bring someone then. So
I thought it was like split along like half. Like
no, it's the base of his staff and the tip of his staff.
I like to imagine it's like the right side and the left side.
So the Dagda's Cauldron is misinterpreted with other cauldrons sometimes. Someone else actually has the Black Cauldron, but there's just actually a lot of cauldrons.
Like Bran the Blessed's cauldron has infinite food, right?
That's the Dagda's actually.
Yeah.
However, the Dagda's Cauldron...
Yeah, well, they're the same guy, I think.
Yeah, it isn't just infinite food. It's no one comes away from it unsatisfied. And so the interpretation I heard someone write about, and this is what really got me intrigued with it, is you can go to it and it'll nourish your spirit if that's what you need satisfied. So his cauldron, it doesn't grant wishes, but it gives you what you need.
It's just this vat of like store-bought icing. it's comfort food.
Well, so I was actually thinking about this. We talked about, would you rather live in Lorien or Rivendell?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the difference between the two.
Lothlorien, yeah.
So Lothlorien is a place stuck in time. It is ruled over by the Ring of Adamant.
Yeah.
The Ring of Adamant makes it so things do not change. They stay adamant. Whereas if you go to Rivendell, you're going to find there what you need. It's the last homely home. Aragorn lives there. He grew up there. And he leaves it all the time. The dwarves went there. They loved it, but they had to leave it. But they got the advice from Elrond. When Bilbo goes there to retire, and he lives there permanently afterwards, it's because he's earned retirement. That is what he now gets. So if you're a person that you go to Rivendell, most humans probably aren't going to stay there. Because you're going to spend some time there, you're going to like mentally recover, you're going to have a good time there, you're going to be like relaxed, you're going to be healthy, you're going to get healed of a lot of your sorrows. And then like something in there, like you'll hear some elves talking, or maybe Elrond will give you advice or whatever, which helps you on your destiny. It's like, okay, this is what I need to now go do. And so you go riding off to the Rohan, and you bring up your life in Rohan again, and you put your house in order after living in the last homely home. And so that's what I see the Dagda's Cauldron doing, is you don't leave it unsatisfied. It nourishes you. It gives you what you need.
Wouldn't you, like, it gives you what you need, let's say, right? But surely that is just comfort eating, and that could be really unhealthy in the long run.
Well, it satisfies you. That's what it does.
Right, but let's say you really need you've got a painting in you, right? Like you've been called to by God to paint this painting. And so you have this unease growing within you whenever you don't paint. And so you just sit at the cauldron just eating the icing from it with a spoon.
So what would happen is like you have all these hang-ups and stuff,
Yeah.
And so you go to the cauldron and there's like some beef broth in there. And you eat the beef broth and you're full. And also like eating different foods can sort of leave you in different moods. And like you feel different ways when you wake up somewhere. It's like you feel like whatever. So you have this beef broth and then you're ready to go paint that painting.
I don't know, that seems...
Cheating?
Yeah, like, you're not leaving satisfied at that point, you're leaving motivated.
Well...
And I also... Okay, the tapping hammer thing, that's also cheating, right? You can't wish for infinite wishes, right? I think that's cheating. So I'm gonna choose something else.
Are you going to veto the cauldron as well?
I'm gonna say you can have the cauldron, but the cauldron is, like... The cauldron is comfort food, all right? Like, it's infinite comfort food.
No, it's not.
It's full of chocolate eclairs.
No, if we're going to say it doesn't do that, but gives you food, it's going to give you a healthy meal no matter what, and you're going to be good.
Yeah. No. It's healthy chocolate eclairs, all right? It's just filled to the brim with chocolate eclairs.
Well, no, chocolate eclairs will make you sick. Like this is
no, they're healthy chocolate eclairs.
But I'm saying even like something sweet, like it's good hearty food, and you can feed.
Yeah, the chocolate
people with it.
It's filled to the brim with ambrosia.
Yeah,
and
so that's what you're saying for the cauldron, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you don't get to have all your life problems sorted out by eating from it. I mean, any more than you could otherwise, because
still pretty good.
It's still pretty good. Yeah, no, it's good.
Food's expensive, and it gives you good food. Like
no, it's one of the first magic items I make in Dominions.
Here's one of the things about it, right? Like you'd be able to like people with
I think it gives you plus 30 supply.
150. But people with autoimmune, like they can eat from this cauldron just fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the Dagda, he's old-fashioned, right? He's an ancient god. I think...
He's one of the oldest.
I think he would be not on board with all this gluten-free hippie stuff, No,
it wouldn't be gluten-free, but the gluten wouldn't make you sick.
No, I think,
It's just full of bread. It's just a cauldron filled with bread. It's not even multiple loaves. You just reach in and take out a handful of bread.
It's like a giant fondue pot.
Yeah.
With, like, chunks of bread floating in it. It's like, what? Is it not good enough for you? You think you're...
So, the Dagda has 3 of the magic items of Ireland. He has his staff, he has his cauldron, and he has the harp. The golden harp with wings is his.
Okay.
Do you know what that harp does?
Looks good on a flag.
Yeah. So if he calls for it, it comes to him because it has wings, so it can fly. And whenever you play it, you can control everyone who hears it.
Imagine
the harp controls the hearts of men.
You're just out in the wilderness. Yeah. You're like, man, I could really do with a giant stringed instrument right now. Good thing mine has wings.
Basically,
it's like such a weird power to have. It's like, man. I wish I could just lug a giant, 80-pound instrument.
The Dagda's items are cool. He's got a big old cauldron.
I guess the Irish harps were smaller.
Yeah, he's got the harp, and he's got his staff or club.
Although, at what point does a lyre become a harp? Like, how small is it allowed to be?
Other cauldrons, there's the cauldron that can pour out an army. That's also an Irish one. Then there's the other one which you can chuck people in it, and they come back out again alive. But the Dagda's club can do that as well. And also... Here's the thing that's kind of terrifying about the club. So when he swings the Killiand, 1 blow kills 7 men. So in Lord of the Rings when Sauron in the movie swings his mace and people go flying?
Yeah.
Is that basically the Dagda's club? He just goes bop and then people just go flying and die from it? Or
yeah, it could be it just doesn't stop, right? So it's able to kill 7. It doesn't always kill 7 men.
I think it kills 7 with a blow of 1.
He is also kind of...
a giant.
I was going to say he's Nurgle. Like, he's he is the god of life, right? So maybe he swings his club and 7 people get the flu.
Oh,
and they just die. Because he is kind of the god of life and death. So
yeah, he's the god of life and death. He's the All-Father. He's the god of traveling. He's actually kind of Tom Bombadil as well. So his wife is the Morrigan. However, his lover is a river in Ireland. And it's like one of their more important rivers.
Okay, so magic item. That is... Problem is, a lot of them are for... like, the ones that are written about, a lot of them are about combat, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's not... And the ones that aren't, they're often...
Cursed.
Well, no, I was thinking more, they're the things in stories where a witch or a god is happy, and so they just give people a blessing. Like, you have this tree that will always bear fruit, or you'll have these...
Like, you... on these items, I'd let you get, Dur Dubney's dog.
He has a dog?
Yeah, it's a talking dog.
Okay, can you have, like, a blessing? Like, could you have...
I know, so you can't get the love spot. Or you can't get the fury of, the coup.
I was thinking of... the Greek gods gave out a lot of non-combat blessings. Like, there was this one lady Poseidon raped, and she did such a good job of it or something. He's like, hey, what do you want? She's like, I never want to be raped again. So he's like, okay, I'll give you the power to shapeshift so you can turn into a man and chase him off. Or a horse. I can't remember. She can change into, like, a bunch of different things, I think. But...
All right. No blessings except that one, but you have to go through that same experience. Okay. So you have to let a big hairy sea man attack you.
Okay. Or who? I think there's a lot of really cool blessings out there. Like,
I mean,
the Greek god blessings suck though. I'm thinking like Ambrosius. She was, running from someone or something. So she's like, help! So he got turned into a tree.
Yeah.
Then you have.
Yeah. If you take that thing from the cauldron, I might go for dripping. Ruin the economy.
If you have like one of the Hindu gods' weapons,
you can just destroy the world.
Yeah.
So what? You're going to hold the world hostage?
Well,
I have Shiva the Destroyer's sword. Do what I want.
I was thinking of that god's like bow and arrow that can like shoot 10,000 arrows at once or something, right? Do you become able to use it? Like you said,
Yeah,
because
you can use them.
You basically have to be a god in order to use those things.
Yeah, you can use them. Like I said, if you got the Helm of Hades, you could wear it. If you got the lightning bolt of Zeus, you can throw it. If you have the swaying spear of Odin, you can hold on to it.
If there was, I don't know, like the apple of Paris, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that the only reason
Sorry, you just made me think of a Chinese item that I might want.
So Paris was only able to get this apple because the guardians of the Grove, Atlas's daughters, were enamored with him because he was so good looking, right? So if I take Paris's apple, in order to have that apple, you'd actually have to be incredibly good looking, right?
Yeah.
So do I become incredibly good looking?
No, you just get the apple.
Because I'm already incredibly good looking?
No, you just get the apple.
Because I'm already good looking. Okay, so you don't get the prerequisites necessarily.
No.
What if it was like a flaming sword? Do I become fireproof in order to...
You can use it.
Does it burn me?
No.
Okay. Or what if it's like a Mjolnir? Do I get the gloves, or am I strong enough to lift it, or do I get the belt?
Well, I was actually thinking about this with Mjolnir. I was thinking you can get the belt, you can get the gloves, or you can get Mjolnir, but you're not going to be able to use it without the gloves or the belt.
Right, so I don't get all the prerequisites for that. Or I don't just become strong enough to lift it with a tiny little half hand.
No.
Okay.
But no, I'm going to say actually you can use Mjolnir without the requirements. You get the hands of Robin Hood or whatever, or the hands of the thief. Okay. Basically, so you can use these items. So you can use Mjolnir, but you're not going to be super strong.
Like how the name changes every time we say it. Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Magilnor. Yeah. Magillinir. Yes. Okay, if I could have any item from all of mythology, Yarn Gripper, definitely.
Is that the hair grabber?
No, that's Thor's gloves.
So you can hold on to a half hammer.
They don't even give you a strength boost. That's his belt.
Yeah, I know. When you're talking about the apple, I was thinking the divine peaches or the divine medicine from Chinese mythology.
Like the immortality things.
Yeah, like I know the Monkey King ate both of them, and he also ate a lot of peaches, but like you don't need to go as far as him. Like, so the problem with the peaches is they give you 1,000 years per bite.
Yeah.
The medicine though makes you have the body of a god.
And do you live forever then if you're a god? Or
yes. But gods age in Chinese mythology with the body of the god.
Right.
But they can't be killed or hurt really except by other divine weapons. And so you'd live your life probably a lot longer than a normal person would, but you would have the body of a god, so you'd be like healthy and strong. And
are the 4 Dragon Kings Are they just Dragon Kings because they're that awesome, or is it the pearl?
They're dragons.
Oh, dragons. Dragonstone. A Chinese dragonstone.
What, you can turn into a dragon with those?
No, they grant you wishes.
Oh, yeah.
But no wishing for wishes.
Okay, no wish granting items?
You can have... Yeah, no wish granting items, no. Unless you're allowed to bless. Well, no wish granting, because that's basically anything, right?
Yeah. Like, that's the problem.
Like, we could have a conversation, what would your one wish be? That's an interesting conversation. Yeah. But...
Because...
That's what all this conversation becomes if we allow wish granting, yeah.
Yeah, it's because, even if we keep going with the Monkey King, Yule Ling, his staff, it's weird. It's really weird, because it's a pillar used to measure the depth of the ocean. However, if you go with the Korean version of it, its translation is as you wish. And so the Monkey King's staff it's actually a staff, and it was waiting for him, and so it's a pillar to measure the oceans, because the dragon god had no idea what to do with it. And then his staff can become whatever he wants it to be.
I've always thought a really cool thing to own would be a multi-tool. Like, you have a ring, let's say, that can turn into a bike, and just a bike would be enough, but it could turn into a bike and a paraglider, and...
Well, we could give you Yule Ling for that.
Like, in Breath of the Wild, Link jumps off a cliff, and he whips out this paraglider, and that would be so cool. But the thing is, why it's cool, it's on several different levels. First of all, the paraglider's tiny. Yeah. Like, there's no way he should be able to drift with that thing. Yeah. Secondly, the strength required to jump and stop your fall with that. Yeah. It's crazy. And then thirdly, he's wearing, like, a shield and a belt. Like, he's barely got anything on him, and suddenly he whips out this paraglider that's half the size of his body. Just a little pocket dimension would be pretty cool to have. Well, that's like, okay, what do you do here? Obviously, you go for immortality or something, or health, and you're...
Yeah, that's like the medicine or the peaches. Or...
You're kind of winning at humanity, right? Like, you're winning at being a human. But it's not like you're not already human, right? Like, you already have all these trials and tribulations, your health goes up and down, you fight it, you die. But that's being human. Do you think it's maybe better to go for something fun rather than something practical? Like, I've thought about this with superpowers. Would you rather have, like, Wolverine's regeneration or flight, right? Like, I think regeneration is the obvious choice because health is so important.
Wolverine's or Nightcrawler's teleportation.
Yeah, but the point being that health is so important, right? But flight would let you do something that no other human can do.
Yeah.
Teleportation's kind of an interesting one because I think teleportation would actually suck as a power. There was actually a movie about this, I believe. It was called Jumper or something? I can't remember. But I think teleportation would actually suck as a power because it would be very similar to a cell phone or the internet, where you'd think, okay, this is amazing, it's so convenient, and then it doesn't actually improve your life. It simply gets rid of all the fun things so that you can do more work. Like, you're like, I can just teleport to work, so I can get to work early and I can do an extra half hour, and I can teleport to the top of the mountain, and I can like, obviously, if you didn't abuse the power, it could be incredibly useful. But I don't know if it's possible. Like, from what I've seen of the entire Earth using cell phones, I don't know if it's possible to not abuse that sort of power. And
well, it's the same thing as taking the Ring of Invisibility.
I don't get the appeal of that one, really, actually. Like, I guess you could steal stuff, but that's if you want to steal stuff.
If you're going on tourists, you could walk into forbidden areas to look at the artifacts. And, like, the Forbidden Palace, the Japanese castle, like that sort of thing, the upper rooms in the hotel.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that's the main appeal for both teleportation and the invisibility for me, is I can snoop.
Okay, here's a question. Would you rather have the power, this is kind of a weird one, to teleport, I'll give you 3, okay? You can teleport anywhere you want.
Yeah.
I think this is the correct choice. I might have to remove it from the list, but okay, you can teleport wherever you want. Second choice, you can teleport wherever you can see. Okay, so you can see the top of that mountain, you can teleport there. You take out your binoculars, you see the edge of a river, you can teleport to the edge of the river. The third power is it's Skyrim teleportation. You can teleport anywhere you've been. Now, I think the first option is correct. You can teleport wherever you want. Probably correct, but I'm not 100% sure because I've been thinking about fast travel in video games.
Yeah.
And I think that the best fast travel system I can think of would be a slightly different version of Skyrim's, where you can teleport anywhere you've been at the time you were there before. So if you were there on a Thursday afternoon on Christmas Day, or let me put it this way. If you were there on October 31st, 1st. No, let's not do a holiday. October 16th.
Yeah.
You are at this place from 1 to 3. Then you can only teleport to that place from 1 to 3 on October 16th every year. And so a place like your home, where you spend a lot more time in, you can teleport there basically whenever you want. But places that you only go out and visit occasionally. And I think for a video game, that would actually mean that your fast traveling is used to go to the places that you really need to get to all the time.
Yeah.
But you can't just fast travel to those far out reaches. You have to... Now, what it might encourage the player to do is leave the game running while their character stands there for a year every time they go to a place.
So with this looking to a place, how many times can I teleport?
As many as you want.
So I could...
You could teleport into the sky and then teleport
I could
back.
skip across the ocean.
Yeah.
But it would take a while.
Probably not like the worst, 15 kilometers or so at a time. And
Yeah. Get to really high points, go up in hot air balloons.
I mean, you did that 100 times and you've gone 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
You could go across the ocean in probably half an hour or less. Yeah. It would be scary. I'll say that you don't keep momentum, or your momentum matches to wherever so you can teleport onto a plane and off of a plane. I'll allow it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you're falling and then you teleport.
Yeah.
You'll go crunch?
No, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Although if you're falling because of your power, you'll be fine. But maybe if you just fall off a cliff, then too bad. It's all I don't know.
Well, then you're just gonna go whoop for the rest of your life,
just faster and faster. Eventually, you'd fall asleep. Well, actually, did you know people even without teleportation powers, they do that for the rest of their life?
Well, no. What you would do if you're in that situation is you teleport yourself into space.
Yeah.
And then you look at the ground, just teleport down there, so you cancel out.
Why would it cancel out?
All right, momentum conserved in space, not stop. Huh.
It's a vacuum of energy. That'd be kind of cool. Like a zone of... You couldn't enter it, I guess. It'd be like a force field. That's kind of a black hole. A white hole. That's a white hole. Yeah, you just boink.
So with this teleport to where I look, if I look at the moon...
You have the choice not to do it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, can I go to the moon with it?
I mean, spoilers for Portal 1, but yeah.
And can I go to Mars if I see the little red dot?
Yeah, but... Well, that's almost a dangerous amount of responsibility at that point. Because you don't really want to just teleport onto the surface of the moon.
No. So if I look at Alpha Centauri...
Yeah, well, no, you would have to teleport to a point. So you would have to teleport onto a star or something. Or... No, because you can't see space, right? You just don't see space, yeah. You have to teleport to a point. So you'd have to teleport to, Alpha Centauri itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably not a good idea.
I don't think my focal reaction time would be fast enough to then teleport to the planet.
Or any planet that you could find. You'd be like, well,
yeah.
Yeah, no. So, yeah.
Okay.
So are we getting rid of the first one? Or
yes, we're getting rid of the first one.
Or is it... Okay, before we do, would it be better to choose the others rather than the first one to prevent yourself from simply teleporting?
Sitting in your lazy boy and just teleporting.
Yeah, and to allow you to adventure still. Because I think... You know, it'd be a really interesting mod for Breath of the Wild or Skyrim or something? I want to see a person play Breath of the Wild or Skyrim for the very first time, right?
Yeah.
And there's a mod active where you can open the map and the entire map is revealed and you can click anywhere on the map and you teleport there. I think that would be such a cool, that'd be a really interesting psychology experiment.
So, just wonder if this changes your thoughts even slightly on the teleport anywhere, is you open up a portal, in Portal, to go through. Only you can go through it. No one else can interact with this portal. You can't throw objects through. If you're carrying a backpack with stuff, it'll bring it through.
Yeah.
But for this teleport anywhere, you open up a portal and you step through it. Does that change it all for you?
I think it might a little, but I think, again, there's so many problems with teleportation. So, for example, the moment you can teleport, everyone expects you to go to Mexico and get the cheapest prices for you. Everyone expects you to be able to see you on all the holidays, no matter where on earth they're. You have to see 30 people every holiday because they're come on, you gotta see. You'd have to set some very hard boundaries. No, I'm not using. I'm only using my teleportation for me, only to go to Mexico once a year as a vacation. Everyone would be wanting to see you. They'd be like, well, come on. And whenever there was a party, they'd say, well, have it at my place because you can just get here instantly. So. Well, I don't want to drive all the way to your place. You'd become everyone's fetch boy, right?
That's part of the reason why taking health is one of the options. Is you can't really do anything with that, and you don't have the responsibility to be a superhero.
Yeah. Well, I think flight is you can do some stuff with flight, but I think selfish powers are the way to go in a way.
Yeah.
Or the thing is, you're allowed to be. No one has any right to your power, right? You're allowed to be there's so many stories about this. Someone gets the power to heal anyone with a touch, and their life becomes consumed with healing millions of sick people. And I think I rolled up. There's this tabletop RPG. I rolled up a crazy random character. You get a random superhero when you play, and the character I rolled up, he has the power to heal twice per day on people he touches. And I was thinking, that's probably better than unlimited times in some ways, because at least you heal 2 people and you're done. You're like, I'm out. And yeah, healing power is almost wasted on a superhero. Like, stop getting into fights and I don't have to heal you. I can just be healing this person that has lymphoma or something over here. Oh, the other thing was the power could only heal superficial wounds, which doesn't mean light wounds. It meant, like stab wounds, and like it couldn't heal like cancer or something, which better in some ways, but tragic in others.
So one of the other things with the godly pill of medicine is like you become immune. Again, it makes you superhuman. Like, you're very healthy, by God. Like, it gives you knowledge. It like gives you wisdom as well. It makes you good at martial arts. Like, there's a huge amount to that pill, which makes it very appealing. Or what about as another thing, you could get the manuscript. That'd be an interesting one as a magic item, is getting the manuscript the Monkey King stole. The manuscript of 1,000 forms.
Well, that's shapeshifting of some sort?
Yeah, it lets you turn into 1,000 different creatures.
Yeah, that could be a nice selfish gift. I don't think like most creatures are worth turning into.
Well, it's kind of implied he can turn to anything. It's just like, it's 1,000 forms.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be anything other than a human.
Yeah.
Like, but there's probably use. It's basically invisibility.
Yeah.
Like you turn into a bee and you're just, and you came up with some good use cases. Okay, yeah. So going back to the side tangent.
The side tangent from which magic item we get with magic power teleportation.
Right. So you can teleport where you look, or you can teleport places you visited. And whichever one you choose, I'm going to nerf. And then I'll see if you change your mind. Okay? I've got 2 nerfs in mind already.
Alright, so I think I would take look.
Okay.
Because Right, so with this places I've visited, is it places I've visited, or is it after I take the power? Now I have to go visit places to go there.
After you take the power.
Okay, because I've been a lot of places already.
Yeah, no, you have to get started. And it's also only areas you've been. So if you visited Spain, for example, you can't go to Spain. You have to go to the exact area you occupied, which means if you only ever have been in Spain sitting like this, when you teleport, you better be in the exact right position. We're not
going to have the city.
You gotta. Okay, I'll give you a little bubble around yourself. It's about half a foot. Okay, so but you have to teleport within that little bubble.
Is that the nerf for?
No, that's just what it's already at.
Yeah, because like there's places I want to go back to. I've expressed like going back to Prague, going back to Amsterdam.
That's the other thing. There's a Steam sale on right now. Tons of video games. I already have a huge backlog, and there's all these games on sale, right? And when I was younger, I had way less games.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was missing out on not having all these games, right? So you can tell, you're like, I want to go back to Prague. It's like, do you though? Like, or does it just become, you have this endless list of places to be now, and you're like, oh, now I have to visit Prague, and I have to do...
Well, no, it's not that.
It's like, because I really did like Prague, therefore I should, see everything, and I should... Like, I think it could become that at the very least.
It can become that, and there's a lot of limits you can set. You can't be afraid of things because of the negative that could be...
I think you can.
Like, well, you can't be so afraid you never leave the house.
No, but that's what the power would do, is to make you never leave the house. You never leave the house of your mind because you have... Okay, you know what this power is? You know what this teleportation is? It's the exact same thing as using the internet. People start living on the internet. They don't live in the real world. They live on the internet. There was a while back, there was an actor talked about a new form of mathematics he invented called teriology. And, just actor having an idea. Doesn't really make sense, but he's having it. And supposedly, you hear this phrase a lot, right? The internet lost its mind. It's like, the internet doesn't have a mind. That's a bunch of people, right? And they are visiting... No, see, even I'm using the terms wrong right there. They're staring at a screen in their room.
Yeah.
They're not visiting anywhere. They are staying still. I think that's what teleportation becomes. Because to visit is to adventure. And if there's nowhere to come... If you can teleport, there is no place you are coming from. You are just always everywhere, essentially. Like, like we say... We don't say you said you shouldn't teleport to the exact position you're in, right? That's because that's not how people think. We think we are in this room, right? Because we are in a state of being able to get anywhere in this room in about a second.
Yeah.
You can teleport anywhere on Earth. You're in a state of being able to go anywhere on Earth in a second, so you're everywhere at once, and so you never leave. It's like, how do you run away? How do you get away? It's like,
yeah, so anyways, on that, I think I would take the teleport to a location that I can look at.
that you can look at. Okay.
Not to a place I've been.
Okay, so here's the nerf. You teleport. Nothing else does. Well, you can have some air in your lungs, I guess, but...
So humans die of exposure ridiculously fast.
Yeah, so don't teleport anywhere cold, obviously.
It's not even cold. You will die in the shade if it's 20 degrees out.
I mean, if you're sitting still, you can jog on the spot. You know, it's possible to move.
Losing your clothes is really bad.
I mean, you can...
You can't use this power.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't.
You can teleport from sauna to sauna.
What sauna looks at another sauna?
Oh, right. It's based on looking.
It is actually unusable.
Well, you could...
You can't teleport places naked. Like, socially, you can't be running around naked.
So what
You can't go to any area that's exposed because you will die of exposure.
So you go to a power company. You get them to build a giant solenoid, a heated solenoid, and then you teleport to the top. And you grab onto the rope that's at the top, and you pull down a weight, and then a spring releases back up, and you just keep teleporting, and you power it. And with the vast fortune you make from this system, you buy a series of saunas dotted across the landscape, and you build a teleportation network. I really don't think 20 degrees is that bad if you're moving and active. And
It's not even that, though. Like, you can't be naked. Like, you can't go anywhere where there's people.
I mean, if you're a prude, you're not... I mean, like you're a superhero at this point, right? People are like, hey, it's Naked Man.
You're the teleporting naked guy.
Do you think if that was the only superhero on Earth, right? Do you think people would just sort of pretend we didn't have superheroes, or would they be like, yay, Naked Man?
People would be interested in a bit and then they'd ignore it.
Naked Man, my cat's stuck up that tree. Can you get...
Sawed off, I'm naked.
How would you get the cat down from the tree? Okay, you can hold...
So,
You can hold things. I'm buffing it slightly.
So I, like, hold a pair of budgie smugglers with me at all times.
I don't know what those are, but...
Speedo.
Oh, you're not wearing them. You can hold them.
Yeah, so...
Why don't you just hold a pair of pants?
Speedo for practical and easier to hold in your hand. You can have multiples. Each time you teleport, you put a new one on. And then you have a point to teleport back to.
Oh, and you know what you would do, though? You have like a stamp on each of the Speedos. It says, this area liberated by Naked Man. And so whenever you teleport away, it just flutters to the ground.
I mean, the more practical thing would be to hold a towel. And then you just whip the towel off and teleport, and then you like wrap it back around.
Well, or you could maybe just even, I don't know, hold it to your waist the whole time. Like you could just... Although you can do that with your hand. You don't even need clothes. You can just hold your hands in front of you every time you teleport.
But like shoes as well. I like having shoes.
Your feet would get tough. You don't need shoes. You don't have to walk. You can teleport.
I want to go walking.
Well, you can...
I teleport to a location to walk around it. That's the point.
Well, that doesn't make sense. You can just walk. You can walk where you are. You can be in clothes and walk like a normal human, and then you teleport when you need to go to a sauna.
Look, if there's a bog,
yeah, and
there's a mountain on the other side of the bog, I want to go look at that mountain. I'm not interested in walking through the bog, but I'm interested in walking around the mountain.
This teleportation power is already... I have never understood traveling anywhere to then move around when you could just move to the place, right? Like why would you drive to a place to go for a walk or to bike or it doesn't make any sense, right? Well, you could just walk from where you are.
Because you want to see new things. You want to look at interesting stuff.
Yeah, see, and that's the power's already corrupted you because you're...
No, I think you have a hang-up that's a weird hang-up, actually.
I don't think I do. I think that...
I like looking at stuff. I like looking at new things.
I
like exploring.
Hate cars so much.
I like exploring.
Yes, me too. But I don't need... Here's the thing.
And so, what this does is it lets me set up new base camps.
There is so much to explore. So much that you don't need to... Like, you will never explore, like, a 10-kilometer radius. And you can walk 10 kilometers.
I don't need to see every single detail. I want to get the feel of the place, the gist of it. I don't... But after a while, right. I want to change of scenery.
No, but there's a different scenery every time, and you're just consuming. You're just consuming the nature. You're just a consumer. You're just eating nature slop like a mindless consumer.
I'm fine with that.
You need to be Like, look, I'm a customer advocate, right? And I think that you should stand up for yourself and not just accept whatever nature slop passes off to you. And you think, oh, I just need the new big... Like, why not be happy with what you have?
I'm just going to tell her around naked anyways, just to prove you're wrong.
But like, I've known people, they have this insane, like, I need to climb every mountain I can see. And then I've climbed 14 mountains. I've climbed 17 mountains. And that's the same thing. It's like, well, I got to see all these new sights. Whereas...
I don't got to see them. I want to.
Imagine a man locked in a room, and there's only a flower in that room. And every day he wakes, and he stares at the flower for the entire day, and then he goes to sleep. And every day he sees something new in that flower. Isn't that beautiful?
Every day he's still a loser locked in a room staring at a flower.
No, he's not. He's locked in the room. You can't call someone who's locked in a room a loser. They're a prisoner or a victim at the very... Like, they're not a loser. And they're an artist. They're a hero. They can see this... They're seeing beauty in their situation, in their circumstance.
Yeah, all right, in their situation, they're seeing beauty.
Yeah, every day, a new thing. Like, that's
fine.
Do you have a game backlog of like 10 games you haven't played that you own?
I don't really consider it a backlog. It's a game I'll play when I play it.
Okay.
I don't have that mentality of a backlog, or, oh, I got to go play this one, or, oh, this is a list of games I'm going to have to play, so I'll play them when I play them. You know, there's this thing with people talk about with anime, right? Where it's like, oh, I got this anime backlog. Oh, I got to get around to watching this anime. Oh, I have this list of anime, but then I choose another one to add to the list. Or even people do that with TV shows. I will watch a show, I'll watch the first season. And it's like, oh, the second season's out. And it's been out for 3 years. It's like, okay, I'll watch that now. And if I miss out on watching something that was really good, it's whatever. I'm watching something else.
Counterpoint, you got Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, and Baldur's Gate when they were first available. So it's sort of like the new thing. I mean, maybe that was the thing you wanted to do at the time.
That was the thing I wanted to do at the time.
Or what about people? Like, oh, this person's up. I got to see them, and I got to see them, and I got to see them. They're the backlog of people you have to see.
My best friend comes up here quite often, and if we hang out, we hang out.
So what is the secret to not backloggery then?
Not being neurotic.
No, because almost everyone does this backlog thing, right? And I'm not convinced you don't either. You just have a different way of conceptualizing possibly. But you maybe you don't. But Divinity Original Sin 2, right? It's like, oh, we got to get around to playing that. Isn't that a backlog? Or I haven't played this magic deck I made. I really want to try that out. Isn't that a backlog?
I could go the rest of my life without playing Divinity 2. It'd be nice to play it.
But then, say those words in a way that I can hear them. And I don't mean that you spoke unclearly. Yeah. I mean, my mind's so messed up. Like, it'd be nice to play it. To me, it's like, it'd be nice to play it, ... Ooh. I'm so passive aggressive. Which is not what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just...
let me see how to word that.
There are many things which would bring me joy, and that would be one of them, but I can't do the others or something like that.
Yeah, kind of, along that line. It is something to do. It is something I want to do.
But, okay, then why isn't it a backlog if it's something you want to do?
I don't have to do it.
So it's
not a responsibility.
Right, but if you never do... Okay, if you never do it, will you be disappointed?
Yes.
So then that is something that...
But I won't regret it.
I don't understand. Let's see. Okay, so you will be disappointed. So therefore it is like a backlog. It's something... I got to get around to doing that, right? Like, because...
No, I don't got to get around to doing it.
Okay, so... You're not...
There is no gotta. There is no onus. There is no need.
But, so you... Let's see. You're willing to accept disappointment. It's not about avoiding disappointment. It's about doing things you like.
Yes.
But if someone constantly disappointed you, wouldn't that be disappointing? Egregious.
Yeah, it would be egregious. And I might stop associating with them. Probably would stop associating with them, actually.
So then wouldn't that person be afraid... Okay, me. Let's say I don't want to play Divinity Original Sin 2, right? But I'm like, I'll disappoint him, and then he'll stop associating with me, and then... So then it does become a backlog for me, because I don't want to disappoint you, or...
No, that won't disappoint me. Not playing that won't disappoint me.
By the way, it's one of my favorite games ever, and I do want to play it, just for the record. But, the first game is one of my favorite ever. The second game is pretty awesome, too, though.
That would not be something that would disappoint me, you not playing it. Or rather, it would disappoint me, but you wouldn't be disappointing me. What would you disappointing me would be saying, okay, we're going to play it Thursday, and then we don't.
Right.
That would be you disappointing me.
Okay. So what would... if I say, okay, you know what? I've decided Larian's a bunch of poo-poo heads and I never want to see anything they've ever made again, you'd be like, okay, well then I get to play it myself or with someone else. And then, okay.
Exactly.
But then, let's say there's someone who's like, okay, actually, I know that you said, okay, well, let's play it Thursday, right? That's an example. That is now a backlog. Like, your to-do list is sort of a although I guess it's temporally bound, so you can't actually... It's a backlog you can't do anything about. You just come to it when you come to it.
And there are some things that need to...
Or what if people are like, have you done X yet? And you're like, oh, no, I haven't gotten around to that yet. Like, oh, yeah, I wanted you to check out this thing for me. Have you checked it? And it's like, no, I haven't gotten around to that yet. Or have you... Like, that's... I mean, you have literal work backlogs.
Yeah, that's a list to do. That is an unavoidable part of life.
Yeah, but a to-do list is a backlog, right? But I guess you're saying that the entertainment shouldn't be well, obviously entertainment shouldn't be a backlog.
Yeah. No, it's literally responsibility and have to versus want to.
Well, what about a responsibility to yourself to...
I think a responsibility to yourself, another one overrides that responsibility. The responsibility to yourself is to...
not be obsessive over not doing events.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with that.
Well, so... Dota 2.
But then why do you want to go back to Prague? Like, that's just on your consumer bucket list, checklist thing. Or what about a bucket list in general? That's a backlog.
Is it a backlog or is it goals? Because I see a backlog as a responsibility. Whereas, like, it's literally binding responsibility things. Whereas a bucket list, like, maybe you could responsibility.
No, but bucket list is like, I got to do this before I die, right? Like, that's the thing. So it is kind of a responsibility.
Okay, yeah.
It's sort of...
I want to go back to Prague. But if I die not going back to Prague, then that's fine. There are things that I desire to see in Prague. Like, it's not just... I want to go to the Czech Republic. I want to go to Eastern Europe. But that is not a burning desire in me that I'll fight tooth and nail to do.
And what's wrong with, like, Canadian soil? Like, why are you such a traitor that you want to go to a different country?
Well, I have never been east in Canada. I want to go east throughout Canada.
What's wrong with west? Okay, no.
Why do I want to do this rather than being satisfied where I am? It's because I want to see things I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I could walk into the woods and see something I've never seen. But I have seen a lot of the woods that there are to see. And so I can guess what I will see by going to the woods. I might be surprised. I might see something very cool within the visions that I've expressed as a construct. But going to these places will be some knowledge I do not have. Some new thing that is different. Because there, in 1,000 coniferous trees, they are still all coniferous trees. You are not going to find a deciduous tree. And I want to lick the deciduous tree.
Okay. I think this is zoning in more. Do you think novelty, after a point, is overrated? Like, there's more ways to live life than seeking novelty. I think for sure, obviously, but
it is not novelty, the wanting to lick the deciduous tree. So
you said you want to see new things.
I want to see new things, but I want to see also things that I might know would be there, but sort of thing. So Prague, for me, it's got all this Gothic architecture and this difference to it. It's so strange. And that's novel. But it also feels right, the buildings, and the way that things are put together.
But I think that's why seeking...
It's more than just the novelty of it. I want these buildings in the Yukon, in Canada. I want buildings to be built like this.
Do you think...
And I want to look at the way they are built and to hold that and to add that into my world. I want that to be a part of the soup that is me.
So that's the same reason I play, like, you know, my wish list on Steam has like 120 games in it. It's because I might not like the game, but it does something genius in a little way, and I want to incorporate that, right? But I wonder if after a point you say, there's better ways to do things, obviously. There are things that are more correct, and you can keep incorporating them into your being, and that's what humans are kind of... that's what we do. We incorporate the novel into our worlds in order to make our worlds better. Like, information is incredibly addictive to us, right? Because we use it to go to higher and higher heights. But I think there might be a point where like enough is enough. It's like, because the whole consumer thing, actually, like on a more serious note, like being a consumer where you're just watching the newest movie, it's because movies have these moments that move you. It's because games have these moments that make you look at the world in a different way, because you have an experience you can never have ever again. And that's why people buy these AAA games like slop over and over again, because there's these moments within them. Even the bad ones, there's these moments within them, because people love novelty. And this isn't
I think it's okay to love novelty.
No, I think it is. Like I said, but I think there's a point, because these are very real, beautiful things, right? But the consumer versus the customer. The consumer, it's like new. And I think you said, you go into the coniferous forest and you've already seen all the coniferous trees.
Yeah.
But have you seen the pattern of the needles? Have you seen the way they fall? Have you seen the bear scratches on them? Like, there's always a different way to look at it. There's infinite facts in every object, right? There's a different, and sometimes
I don't have the desire to know the entirety of a thing.
But I don't think you ever can.
Yeah, but I don't even want to.
And I'm not talking about mastery. I'm talking about, like, you've played, I don't know if you've ever beaten Ocarina of Time, but you've played a lot of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And you go and you see this world, and then you forget what you're doing, and you start again, you go and you see this, and you get to the Shadow Temple, and it's too scary, and then you play again, and maybe you get only to the Forest Temple this time, and then you load up your old save, and you figure it out. And before online shopping and on, like, just more, there was already enough. Like, there was already too much. There was already more information than you, like, I think that
there was still
it's not about mastery. I think there's more information than you can handle already in a.
I think there's still the desire to explore. I think that's very true in humans. Like, it's not even novelty to explore. It's like, I think it's actually I know it's like to see the unseen, but I don't think what you're seeking out is novelty in the seeing the unseen. If you get what I'm saying.
I'm not sure. There could be a.
Because you're also looking for the old in exploring. Like, you go to Prague, right? Let's hark back on Prague. And you see that people are still people there. And that's part of the desire to see that people are still the same.
Part of it is I don't really like travel.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tricky translation layer. But
like, you see the coniferous tree versus the deciduous. They're both trees.
I think... Okay, maybe this is what I'm getting at. You don't need to travel to Prague to have infinite adventures.
But there are different kinds of adventure.
But you don't need to do every kind of adventure.
No, you don't need to do every kind of adventure.
You don't even need to seek the best adventure for you. I think that if things are good, the degree to which they're good doesn't matter. I think a little good is basically the same as a lot of good. And the difference in trying to determine a little good from a lot of good, what is lost there is bad. Like, essentially, let's say there's 2 games on Steam that you're interested in. We'll go back to Steam for a moment. If there's 2 games on Steam you're interested in, and you try the demo for one, and you like it, and you're like, and you can only afford to buy one, right?
Yeah.
So you try the demo for one, you like it. I think you'd be better off simply buying that game and sticking with it, rather than also trying the demo for the other and seeing which one you preferred. I think as long as you like something, it's probably...
Okay, so you don't like travel. I desire to go into chaos. And that's what exploring is. That's what seeing new things is.
Yeah, but you can what I'm saying is you can explore, you can walk to the mountain, you can hike to Prague, you can swim, I guess, to Prague. You don't need to start in Prague. Like, if you want to go into chaos, then go to Nahani Valley, like, get on a bike and start going east, Like,
there are different flavors of chaos.
Like, I'm not saying I want to be hiding behind the walls in a safe little place. I'm saying that the chaos is here. The chaos is everywhere.
Yeah, order. But there's only one kind of chaos here, and that chaos can only forge 1/8 of the sword of chaos. And maybe it's a chaos I do not desire to go into. I desire to go into the purple chaos instead of the blue. And I think that actually the desire, I think, might be a thing on this, is that is what I want. Because yes, there is chaos in the Nahai Valley. There's chaos walking in Nahai Valley. There's chaos getting on a plane and flying to Prague. And it's like saying, oh, that's a video game. You just want to play a video game. So you could play Mario, or you could be playing Cookie Clicker. Well, no, Cookie Clicker's not a video game. That's an addictive thing. You'd be playing Mario, or you could be playing Metroid. It's like, oh, you just playing video games. What's the difference between video games?
You know, as long as one is good. Right. So as long as you like Mario, then you might as well just play Mario. But if you don't like Mario, then yeah, go play Metroid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way...
or even on that, I like Mario. I like Metroid better.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if all you have is Mario, then you might as well just play Mario rather than worry about if Metroid's better or worse.
Yeah, but if you can achieve Metroid, if you can earn it, if you can get it...
No, I don't think... In my opinion, I don't think you should get it if you're already content with Mario. And the reason I think that is... I don't think it's natural. What I'm saying, I don't think is natural. I think what I'm saying is actually a very unnatural proposition. But we have entered a time of hyperabundance to the point where there's always something better you could be doing. You are always being suboptimal. There's always a better game. There's always a better place you could be traveling. There's always a better book you could be reading. There's always more information you could be gathering. And I think you will destroy yourself with the fear of missing out and constantly looking for the next thing.
I think I respond to that with develop self-control.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I'm saying that the self-control you suggest, I mean, could be wrong here. The self-control you suggest is shackling yourself so you do not do the thing. The self-control I suggest is creating... and I know this is both mentally, but for this work, you suggest creating physical shackles to attach to your legs so you do to control yourself. Whereas I say I don't want to say create shackles in your mind, but sort of extent of control yourself without needing to chain yourself. Because that's what it feels like you're expressing to me, is chain yourself. Don't go exploring out in the world. Stay where you are, explore where you are. Because that's all you need. Don't get a different video game because you have the video game you have. And that's good enough.
That's not what I said.
That's what it feels like you've said.
No, I said if you enjoy it.
Yeah. So if you enjoy it. Even...
I didn't say you have to stick with what you have at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying you need to control yourself. I'm saying what you said you're saying. Mm-hmm. I said you need to have self-control. If you enjoy something, enjoy it. Don't seek the next thing. Like, don't always be seeking the next thing. Stick with what you enjoy.
But you're allowed to seek the next thing. You can't be afraid of not seeking the next thing.
This isn't... I don't think the cocaine addict is afraid of the next hit. I think they're looking forward to it. Like, okay, you're in Prague, right? You teleport to Prague. You're having a great time in Prague. And you're like, oh man, I really wish I was in Spain right now. And then, so you're, okay, I'll teleport to Spain. And then you're in Spain, you're like, okay, man, I really wish I was in France right now.
No, I was in Prague.
That's what I'm saying. You should be in Prague.
Yeah. No, I was in Prague.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is you should be in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Prague, you should be in Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah. But I'm allowed to go to Spain.
Yeah, but if you're in Prague, you should be in Prague.
Yes. Yes, be present.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're drinking tea, drink tea. If you're eating, eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying chain yourself or
sorry,
just hide in place and...
That's what it sort of felt like you were saying. But I can be wrong on what I interpret from people quite often. So what would be the nerf to teleporting to a location you've already been?
Well, no, I want to go back to the if you're all right with...
No, yeah.
Actually, going back to that mathematician who invented this new math, people were getting very upset with him. And they were talking about how they were getting upset. Like, that's not how math works. You can't say 1 × 1 = 2. You can't do that. And people were getting very upset with this 1 × 1 = 2 thing. And I commented somewhere...
well, there's your first mistake.
I said, people who are getting upset with this guy remind me a lot of people who get upset about blasphemy.
Oh.
Because essentially what he's doing is he is attacking an axiom, like a fundamental belief of the world. 1 × 1 = 1, 1 + 1 = 2. That is a fundamental axiom. And I had a lot of people saying, well, that's totally like, people were quite, I wouldn't say upset. They were up in arms about what I said. They're saying, kind of like you were there, where it's like, how can you say we're as crazy as, like, religious wackos, or how can you, like, this guy is messing with this fundamental, very important fact. And I think I might be bad at communicating, or I communicate in a very different way, is what I'm getting at here, where I probably don't have enough explanations for each of the steps I'm making to make the connection. I think what I'm doing is I'm distilling the idea down to, like, a sentence that works for me. but it depends on my definition of each word, basically.
Yeah.
And then...
Okay. No, I did something wrong here. I actually did something wrong here.
Well, I'm not going to apologize for you misinterpreting me, though, right?
No,
Like,
but
'cause
I also did something else wrong. That's not that there. So I did wrong. The forest of needle trees
Yeah.
versus the forest of leafy trees. And you're saying there is still more to see in the needly trees.
Yeah.
You don't need to see the...
Yeah.
No, I do.
Okay.
I need to see the leafy trees as well.
Why?
Because I haven't seen them.
So there's deciduous trees, there's conifers, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say there's 5,000 other different kinds of trees.
Yeah.
Do you have to see all of those as well?
No.
Why not? If you have to see the deciduous, why do you not have to see everything else?
Because I've seen the leafy tree.
What is the difference between seeing one extra tree and seeing 1,000 extra trees?
Because I want to.
But I think that's where...
Yeah, and that's where I got wrong, is I was trying to come up with a way with this without saying want or like a very basic, this is just my desire.
Oh, that's something I actually wanted to add.
And that's what I'm saying is, no, I'm allowed to have my desire. Where does this desire come from? Where will it be satisfied? I don't know where it'll be satisfied. I don't know where it comes from. But, so, I got to see Hagia Sophia. I wanted to see Hagia Sophia. Now, if I am reading a book of architecture and I see Notre Dame, I want to see Notre Dame. Do I have to see it? No, but I want to see it.
What? This isn't actually...
And so on that of what we're going with you're saying the backlog of want versus has to, is I have no responsibility to do these things to myself or other, but it is something that I want to do. So we could call it a backlog in that this is something that I desire. However, it is not a responsibility and it does not weigh on my soul. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong or stop me, but when you look at the backlogs or things, you see these as tethers to your soul, which are things that are always gnawing at you.
No, it's more like a to-do list.
Yeah, or a to-do list even. And I don't see it as a to-do list. It's more of
List of options.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. It's an option.
Because that's the way I feel about books, right? I literally have 500 book backlog right now, right? But in that sense of backlog, it's more of there's 500 books I own right now that I can read that I haven't read.
Yes.
And it doesn't stress me out. But there's like 30 games I haven't beaten, and I'm like, well, the problem with the games, which would be a problem with the books if I read books wrong. So I think the problem is actually how I play the games. It's like all 20 or 30 of these games I've done like 2 hours in.
Yeah.
So I'm literally devoting a significant amount of brain power to remembering what the next step in the game is, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to actually keep a model of the game in your mind in order to keep playing the game. Mm-hmm. Which is why I have basically forsworn campaign games, board games, like things like a board game should be an experience where you sit down and play a game, not a dedication to like take up like mental space in your life, right? Like,
yeah.
And actually campaign video games as well, like games like Battle Brothers, XCOM, these really long campaign games. I love XCOM and Battle Brothers, but I'm not buying any more of these. It's like I can only have like 2 or 3 of these in my mind, right? Like, like Darkest Dungeon is a game I can never beat because every time I get partway through, I stop for one reason or another, and then I have to restart the game from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I want to say... this is really important. I need to say this quickly. You should never have to defend or justify... you should never have to justify liking something, wanting to do something.
Yeah, that's why I said I did something wrong. I need to correct that.
Yeah, and I kept wanting to bring that up, but everything else I'm saying, you never need to justify liking something. If you like travel, you like travel, right?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get at, and expertly probably, is I think there's a point where the pursuit becomes the goal in of itself, and it becomes this endless... This is not for travel, this is for everything.
Yes.
I think this age of superabundance... I think choice is a necessary... Like you were talking about shackles, like removing all choice from the world. I don't think that's true. I think choice is a necessary evil. I think we would be happier without choice. Like, I actually think we'd be happier without choice. But no choice leads to stagnation and corruption.
If I had to choose between a world with choice
or
no choice, I would choose choice every time.
So there would be no choice at all. Yeah. Yeah, I choose choice every time. No
Well,
choice at all.
The no choice at all is just funnier. Then
Yeah.
there's no choice at all with this choice.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about... I was thinking, right? Imagine a life you lived where every moment of your life, you did that thing which you thought was scariest, right? So you're overcoming your fear at every instance, every time. You'd be hit by a car in like 3 seconds flat. But let's say you're not putting yourself in danger, but you're doing the things that you find scariest, right?
Yeah.
You destroy relationships. You would lose your entire family, probably. You would, who knows? You'd upend the world. You'd probably be in prison, right? Who knows what would happen? And maybe that would be the bravest, most correct path you could take in life. Maybe that's what God wants from you. But it'd be weird because, and it's sort of what Jordan Peterson talks about in a way with King Arthur's knights. They choose the darkest part of the forest to go and find the Grail, right? It's sort of what they talk about. Now, that's not at every moment. That's at every juncture. You choose the darkest path. And that's sort of Peterson's definition of heroism. And I mostly agree with it. But I was thinking, doesn't that mean there's no choice at all? Like, it's just sort of... like, basically, the world then at that point is the scary option or you fail. And that's not a world with choice. That's a world that has introduced failure.
Yeah.
Which, if a God created it, it's like... Yeah, so there's a correct choice, but it's scary. So I've given you the option to fail. I haven't given you an out. I've just given you the option to fail.
So Pearson, this is actually interesting on the choice things. He gets a lot of flack for this. So it's kind of fun. You can basically break his brain for a few moments in speaking. You ask him, "Do you believe in God?" And he gets a lot of flack for how he answers that question.
I think he answers it fine.
I think he has one of the best answers possible for that.
Depends on what you mean by believe.
Well, yeah, it depends on what you mean by believe.
We've had conversations where it depends.
It depends on what you mean by believe. It depends on what you mean by God.
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by you.
Yeah.
Depends on what you mean by do.
Depends what you mean by in.
Yeah. Actually, though, but like, there's so much to that. But even another one of his answers, which is on that, is like, how can you even ask that question? Is one of the answers he gives sometimes.
Well, I think by his definition, everyone would have to believe in God, basically.
Yeah.
Which I think maybe he should just say, he has said, I don't think anyone's an atheist.
Yeah.
But what I think he should say, maybe to put some people at ease, would be, I think everyone believes in God.
Yeah. I think he answers in the way he does, though, because one of the things...
Well, he wants to be precise.
He wants to be precise, but he also doesn't want to lie. He wants to speak the truth.
The funny thing is, I've seen people say, he says he should be precise, but then he's so wishy-washy. And no, that's not what precision means.
Yeah.
Precision means being correct. And phrases like, yes, I believe in God, or no, I believe in God, are incredibly imprecise.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell does that... Like, even devoted Catholics or Christians or whatever, and when they say, oh yeah, I believe in God, it's like, okay, yeah, but let's get into that. Like, there's so many different ways that could be true. Like, do you believe there will always be someone looking out for you, or do you believe there's a man in the sky, or do you believe there's... And what do you mean by a man in the sky? What do you... Like, I don't know if you saw, he had that atheist on, Cosmic Skeptic, and he said, okay, let's try to break it down. If you go back in time to the tomb on the third day, do you see someone walk out of that tomb? And Peterson said, yes, I think you do. He's like, okay, good, now we have something. He's like, but I don't know what that means. It's like, what?
So back to the no choice with it. You go to the darkest part of the forest. You have to choose the darkest part of the forest, or you choose failure.
Yeah, so it's not a choice at all, except we choose failure all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think if that was a system created by God, isn't that cruel? Like, isn't that incredibly cruel?
God is cruel. Have you
met him?
Have you read the Bible?
Well, he's more, like, he seems harsh, but it's sort of like, look, there's only one path through this hell, right?
It reminds me of, I was just thinking about this image, which is the moment Moses leaves to go talk with God. This is what the people leaving Egypt do. And it's like a classroom just turns to instant chaos when the teacher leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, he leaves for a moment and they make the golden calf.
I think the implication he was actually gone for a while, right? Like, he was on the mountain for a bit.
Like 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah. You start a cult in that time. Imagine if you were left in class for 3 days waiting for the teacher.
It might go a little bit of Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. You just got like 400 students locked in a...
It'd go Lord of the Flies within like 5 hours.
Yeah. It's funny when you look at like medieval people and, well, even before that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm thinking like 500, like sort of King Arthur times and back. Yeah. And all the adults are like high schoolers, like not in age, but in the way they act. Like they're over the top. They're they're rambunctious. It's funny.
Well, so there's this funny thing. I was watching some political streams.
We're much more self-conscious these days, which may or may not be good.
Well, yeah, on that, the self-conscious. So, there's like some drama between these different political streamers, and then there's other drama between different political streamers, and both people made it. It's like this. It's so much like being in high school.
Yeah.
Like the VTubers are like a bunch of
politicians. You ever watch like a debate in Parliament? Politicians act like high schoolers. They make the tiniest flub, and they all go, "Oh."
Your group of friends acts like high schoolers.
I don't think as much. Like, I think my friends, at least, I think we're. There's nuance to things.
There is nuance, but
it's not just my team, their team. That click bad, this click good.
But what I'm getting at is humans are human.
But I think that politicians are children. Like they act like
yes.
they don't act like They don't act like they can govern themselves, which is weird. Because shouldn't the politicians be the leaders of our species? But the leaders are typically like the small business owners, like the mechanic dude or the farmer, or like those are the leaders that take. If there's a disaster, they take charge, right? The politicians are the people you least want to be leading because they all just act like they act with a hive mind. A parliament of 400 elected leaders should be unending chaos of like 400 individuals arguing with each other about every detail. But instead, there's two sides. And they go, hey, you said dumb thing. Hey, you said the same dumb thing, but we forgot about the thing you said 3 seconds ago. They're the most hive mind people out there.
Given the rules of Parliament and how you can get thrown out, if I was a parliamentarian, I'd probably get thrown out quite often. Because it would be, all right, so I have this question, like I bring forward this question. And then the person answers with a non-thing or says whatever. And it's like, no. I'm not trying to gotcha here. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. We need to talk this out. We actually need to discuss this. And, like, I might get mad because I get mad. I might, like, shout at them. But it wouldn't be a try got. It's like, no, shut up for a moment, okay? Like, we need to get down into this. We need to address this. I don't care about winning points anymore.
Well, this is... I don't remember who said it or who coined it, but it's in business and in politics where, like, 90% of negotiation is done at parties outside of work.
Yeah.
Like, basically, the two opposing leaders, they'll be at some gala in a city, and they'll just be like, hey, you want to just work this out in the corner? And they'll just talk it out. Or like a business merger, like, there'll be all these negotiations and lawyers and stuff, but then the two guys will just be like, let's have breakfast, and we'll just...
When you're having the meeting, you need to pop up and show...
Yeah, and
your fangs.
It's a show almost.
Yeah, you need to show your fangs, you need to fluff up your frill or whatever.
But it almost... Maybe the show is important, but it seems superfluous. But maybe it's important to have, like, the parliamentary chaos that's very British, and the British basically have defined themselves as tradition takes you forward.
I think, honestly, getting, like, really discouraging and heavily punishing politicians throwing fists with each other, I think we should actually, like, sort of back off. You know, in hockey, like, please let the hockey players fight?
Yeah.
Like... The parliament should actually have that sort of in there. Like, not duel going to take out daggers, but actually be jumping across the aisle and slugging the person. And then the sergeant at arms should, like, stand there and, the sort of, like, bystander, like, ooh, that's a hit. It's like, okay, now I step in. But the sergeant at arms should, like, let a few fists be flung and then get involved.
I think part of the reason why we're so self-conscious now, and people used to be more teenagers, but teenagers that could... duel and fight and whatnot. Yeah. I think it's partly because there was less people, and it seems counterintuitive, but I think what happens with less people is the 1 in a million deaths from politicians brawling don't happen.
Yeah.
Because it's rare, because there's less people. And so things seem more dangerous now, because there's so many people that you can read about any disaster you want at any time.
Yeah.
Like, if you want someone to stop, like, wearing a wristwatch, you can probably find, like, wristwatch tears off trucker's hand when he jumps out of truck. Wristwatch has cancerous component in the wristwatch. Yeah. Like, you can find death and disease in anything because there's so many people. And I also think that's why when the news reports on a disaster, it's not really telling you how to avoid the disaster. Just saying, anything's possible when there's 6 billion or 8 billion people or however many there are now. But I really do think, and maybe going through the travel, like, look, Prague is your thing, right? You want to go to Prague, you want to go to Prague. But I think... you shouldn't go to Prague and Spain and all 47 countries in Africa and Australia and or no, you can even do that. But when you're in Prague, you can't be wanting to go to Australia, and then when you're in Australia, you can't because
the Tolkien song, I sit beside the fire and think. So it has multiple parts. So it has reminiscing. There's I think of all the things I've never seen and all the things I'll never do. And so the song is longing for adventure, but it's also accepting that he can't adventure anymore. And it's like, I listen for the sound of feet and voices at the door. And he's like reflecting on his life, he's reflecting on things. And so, yeah, he desires adventure, and he wants to go see new things. And that's okay. But yeah, you're right about you're in Prague, you're in Prague.
But yeah, I also think, yeah, you can want to seek adventure, but not too much. I think you become because
you can't become
like everyone's a burned out thrill-seeking junkie, right? Like I got to travel to all these places. I've got to watch all these TV shows. I've got like the whole consumption culture, right? It's just more.
I don't know which anime it is, but there's an anime where basically people turn into demons based on their obsession. So the apocalypse is happening. So this is one of the premise. But basically, you become a demon that represents your obsession, and people who are too obsessive with a thing will become the demons, and it's the people who are not, who don't become the demons, and try to fight back against them. And so you cannot be consumed by anything, as we have said. You cannot desire for desire's sake.
Is chasing adventure? Okay, no. There is a way to falsely chase adventure, I think, is what. Yeah. Because you can travel all around the world seeking adventure, right? You're like, I'm an adventure seeker. It's what I do. I got to seek adventure. And your child is starving at home.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the adventure is to be a father taking care of your child. That is your adventure. Your adventure is to stay home and take care of this child. That is an adventure.
Yeah.
And that's the adventure you're too afraid to go on. You say you're brave and you're hiking all these mountains. Yeah. If you're so brave, stay in place. Yes. Take care of that child. Do that adventure. And I think that's the thing. People are... I want to learn new things. I want to see new things. It's like, okay, how about you learn what happens if you sit in a quiet room for half an hour?
Yeah.
Why don't you learn what happens then? Why don't you learn what happens if you go to that same forest you've seen 1,000 times before? Why don't you learn what happens then?
Yeah.
Maybe something on Time 1000.
And why don't you travel to Prague and go into a cathedral and hear a pipe organ get played? If that's the adventure you need.
I get the spiritual people and like travel vlogger types. I get the same sort of hackles raised thing about both of them, where it's like, oh man, you don't know until you've seen like different cultures and you get that we're all the same. It's, well, if we're all the same, then I can get that here, can't I? I don't need to talk to these people. But I don't think people are entirely the same.
People are very different.
Well,
people are very different, but people are people.
Individually, people are similar, but in groups they're different, I think, weirdly.
Yes. Yes, no, that's quite good. I agree with that entirely.
Yeah, you get them one-on-one, but then you like hit no, everyone has their sticking point. It's just a different sticking point. But I think this is something Mark Manson talked about many years ago, where he was looking at from about the Great Depression to the modern day. And the modern day at that time would have been like 2013 or something. Yeah. But he was talking about scarcity. So there was a scarcity of resources. And then people just, it's like eat whatever you can fit in your mouth because you're going to starve the next day. And then suddenly we have this obesity epidemic. And he said there's this scarcity of good teaching and information. And now we have infinite teaching and information. There's more than we know what to do. And even more than that, there's more good. And so then he said this was like in the 90s. There's this period where you had to figure out what was good information, what was bad information. But he was talking about we're coming to this new age where we have infinite good information. And you can't see it all. Like adventure and novelty, really, I'm not gonna say they're bad, but they're not virtues. They're the default for humans.
You know what it comes back to is the looking something up.
Like if you want, like when you're talking about.
So King Henry the Fourth, or was it the 8th, had the 4 wives he executed.
Yeah. Oh, and we can look up if it was the 4th or the 8th.
That's not what's important here. There was a King Henry,
And he executed his wives.
And he executed his wives.
And maybe there was 6 wives. Maybe there was 8 wives. And maybe he was beheaded, died, survived, or maybe it was...
But that's not important. Now, if we want to know... Okay, if we want to know who King Henry IV is, we can go find information on him. But what we wanted there was King Henry executed his wives.
Yeah. So we don't go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole and read every link to every...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the message there. That was what mattered in that moment. And that's the same thing with this adventure, the same thing with this thrill. Even potentially the spiritualism or the aspects of these things, the availability versus scarcity is being present. Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I don't know your entire thoughts on that book.
I've got something on Richard Bach here, which is similar but different.
But one of the things that is an interesting part, I think one of the problems that I have, and I don't want to put things into your brain, but you might have, is the lens of which you received them through, and also just the lens of what they are. So, where are we? Here. When are we now? It's like, you don't need the compass, you don't need the map, you don't need to look at the time. I mean, the time can be useful to look at. But it was that message there was being present. There's different things you can interpret from these stories. And one of the problems with those self-help books, those stories, those things, is the writer needs to be good. And the good self-help books have good authors. And they write the book well. And what you're getting out of the book is actually the good writing. I think the advice is secondary a lot of the time. And that's the same thing with Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is well written. You can get an equal amount of good advice out of Lord of the Rings as you can out of a self-help book.
I think you get more.
Yeah, probably.
I think you can get a lot more. I think it was The Last Psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist. Mm-hmm. And he was saying he had a problem when he was trying to treat borderline patients because the whole thing about, or cluster B people, right? The whole thing is that the world is a story and people are characters in their story, right?
Yeah.
And so the problem is if, let's say they have a person they're obsessed with, right? Their favorite person, that's what happens a lot with cluster B. So they have their favorite person, they're obsessed with them. And so they come to the psychiatrist and the psychiatrist says, oh, you're cluster B, you have this favorite person you're obsessed with. And they go, oh, yeah, I'm just making them a story. That's a good point. The psychiatrist said the problem is they now recognize this. But now you're a character in the story. You're the person you're the wise mentor who is teaching them how to be better. And that's the story that they can't let go of now because you are the wise mentor. He said, there is no way in his entire career experience for a psychiatrist to treat someone with cluster B. The only way he has ever seen that worked is through fiction. He said, because then they can read it and come to the conclusion on their own instead of it being, which is weird because the problem is they're trapped in a story and a story frees them. But it's instead of them just amalgamating you're the person that'll fix me now. You're the person I go to. My story is that I go to you every Thursday. And
so in The Lord of the Rings, I finished a bit with Tom Bombadil. I believe we talked a little bit about last time.
Yeah.
So I got through that bit, and I was thinking about, because apparently a lot of people put the story down when it gets to Tom Bombadil, or they're like, I can't get through this, whatever. And so a lot later, Aragorn, Strider, is leading the hobbits through the lowlands. He's leading them through the marshes towards Weathertop. And there's this line, which is, they did not see any creatures that walks on 2 legs. And they did not see any creature that walks on 4 legs, besides a fox and some squirrels. And I was thinking about that literally, because also I was doing a D&D campaign the night before. And I made a joke about, so they went into this room, and I described the room for them. And they did as players did. They interacted with my descriptions. And I made the joke about a windmill being on a hillside and them wanting to go look at the windmill. It's fine for them to go look at the windmill, because you gave that to the players. But it's more of the poetic prose, or not even prose, just saying something's there. Like that, they didn't see anything besides a fox and a few squirrels. That's pointless. Like, if you want to... The midwit sees that as pointless. So you have a student who's learning creative writing. So the idiot, or the caveman, the grug, whatever, will go, haha, squirrels and fox. The midwit goes, this is completely unnecessary. to the story. And basically. Jowl swinging or whatever. Sipping a latte. And you go down the slope to the Grug. To the intelligent Grug. Or whatever. The Jedi Master, I don't know.
Squirrels.
Haha, squirrels. This is the world. It just is.
I think the interesting thing with D&D is that you are playing a game, right? So everything you say is essentially something...
Chekhov's gun.
Well, it's part of the world, right?
Yeah.
But this strange thing is that is actually only a problem introduced after 2nd edition. Because in 1st edition, if someone said there's a windmill, you're like, okay, that's a weapon.
Yeah.
Because 1st edition, I've seen people describe it as dungeon crawling as war.
Yeah.
It's a war. Everything is a tool. Everything is... You do whatever it takes to win, no matter what.
Yeah.
And so if someone in 1st edition says... So in 2nd edition and up, you say there's a squirrel and a fox, you're like, okay, there must be something about that squirrel and fox. And because of the way the rules are written, there better be, or the DM is kind of wasting your time.
Yeah.
Right? In 1st edition, like, I'm going to throw that squirrel at the fox.
Yeah, well, with the windmill, I was even thinking, like, windmill spin. So there's windmill near the villain's castle. So I'm going to tie all our rope together, attach to his door, then attach to the windmill so it winds up and tears their door down.
But in a story, the purpose is painting the world,
Yeah.
And I think you don't want to waste people's time, though. That is... but this is actually on... When I was talking about there's so much stuff, right? You can't have a slow... Like, Lord of the Rings would not sell today. Because... And it's not because it's poorly written. And it's not because people don't enjoy it today. I think people still enjoy it today. The problem is... The publisher, like everyone reading it has to trust it. They have to say, okay, this is, I'm going to have to read 50, 100 pages before the story takes off, as it were. And I don't know if it will take off in a good way or it'll keep being slow or it'll be bad. And there's 500 other stories out there I could be trying out instead.
Yeah, so what I was going to go back to with Tom Bombadil, with the story being slow, is if you put down the book when you get to Tom Bombadil, I think that's a good thing. Because... the joy of Lord of the Rings for me is the moment with Tom Bombadil. It is there a fox and a squirrel. It's...
Yeah, so if it's not for you, it's not for you.
It's not for you, yeah. But like...
And it's not bad to not be for you. Everyone has different tastes.
But it's the sort of thing...
Like liking anime is kind of weird, but other than that.
With Lord of the Rings, like, you have to like get to a certain point and then it becomes good. No, you shouldn't have to suffer your way through Lord of the Rings, and it's not that pays off in the end. It's... The whole thing is such a beautiful glance into this world, or I don't know, like, I'm not a fan of saying statements like that, like looking into the world, but the whole thing is just so...
It's like a picture or a tapestry
it's
or
so
something.
good. Like, in its entirety, it's good.
And, good as in not evil. Like the opposite of evil, Not good as in well-made, but like, it is well-made, but...
but good as in... Like, hero with a big chin, Superman, good.
It's wholesome. It's opposite of evil. It defeats evil.
Yeah. And by reading it, you can take some of that good. Or even just look at it. Like, you don't have to take it, but you can. You can take strength from it. It's like the cauldron of the Dagda. It nourishes you.
Yeah, if that's your thing, definitely.
Yeah. And so, like...
But so you're reading Lord of the Rings, and you're like, well, I could also be reading these 10 other Lord of the Rings books. Like, I need to get back and read the Wheel of Time, and then I think
I started... So, this is my third read-through of Lord of the Rings, I think. Or it might be my fourth. But what happened is, I was on the plane, and I was trying to get to sleep. And, I had, like, headphones in, trying to, like, block out the noise. It's like, alright, I'll just listen to Lord of the Rings, because maybe it'll put me to sleep, if not, I'll enjoy it. And so it's by accident I started Lord of the Rings again. And it's like, you know what, let's read Lord of the Rings again. And so that's what I'm doing now. I have to still finish the Bible. I'm only partway through it.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm listening to Lord of the Rings now.
Well, that's the interesting thing with... The reason a lot of people have game backlogs in the first place is because there's a different game they play all the time. And a lot of the times the games they play are games like Dota or Call of Duty. They're these online... but not always. Sometimes they play a roguelike. They jump in for a game of Slay the Spire. They can do that 20 times a day, but they need to sit down to play... for instance, the third Metal Gear Solid game. It takes about 6 hours to beat that game. Who's got 6 hours to beat a game? That'd take forever. I'm just going to go play 10 rounds of Slay the Spire instead. Each runs 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to me, even. And I saw something that I thought it was someone talking about. As you get older, you have less and less time to yourself. So you do all these. You start. If you're playing games with your friends, find video games or board games that are quick and easy to set up and easy to take down. And someone said, and this guy, as I got into my 30s, I learned this. And this was on Reddit, and someone replied to them. And they're like, "I'm in my late 40s, and me and my friends did that. And what we eventually learned is do not sacrifice those things that you value as important.
Yeah. So,
Still do the long things. Put aside the time. It's harder work, but it's worth it."
Yeah. So last night, one in the D&D group, it's kind of interesting what happened. I basically went to our game shop, and I asked the owners, like, I really want to play D&D. Can you basically put up an ad for me saying I'm a DM looking for players? I was like, sure. So I put that up there. And a little after Christmas, I got an email from someone saying, hey, I want to play this with you. And I was like, okay, that's great, but you're the only person who's replied so far. I was like, okay, I know some other people might also be interested in playing. Just let me know when you have enough players. And then it was like a month ago, this other person messaged me. He's like, hey, are you still looking for D&D players? I saw your ad at the game shop. I was like, yeah, that makes 2 now. So we have 2 players. I'd like to have at least 3, preferably 4, but I can go ahead with 3. And then this person's like, oh yeah, my colleague's also interested in trying D&D. So it's like, all right, let's have him come along. And so
Cool.
We had our meeting, and we got into this meeting and went through with it. And I said to them, all right, we need to come up with a day that we can do this once a week. And it needs to be once a week. And we need to play for 3 hours. And I said, if one of you can't make it, we're still going to play. If we need to move a day around, we'll do that maybe once, but let's not make a habit of that. Like, there are needs musts. And so last night, one of the guys who initially contacted me, he's getting married, and his family's up, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And he really wanted to make it, and it just didn't work out. I was like, okay, I can't make it. And so I was like, well, he'll play with us next time.
Simp.
Yeah. And so we usually play at his house. But we couldn't do that, so I invited them over to my house to play this time. And the 2 people got there, and we had a 4th guy join us, and he wasn't showing up, and he basically got the time wrong. And then he showed up later, and we were playing. And one of them made the statement that it's like sometimes it's hard to justify playing D&D when real life gets in the way of playing. And I said, no, that's the wrong statement. D&D is real life. It's a part of your life. If it's something you enjoy, it's something you want to do. And I quoted that whole thing of the guy said, I'm in my 40s now. My friends make time for it. So you cannot view this as there is real life and there is D&D. D&D game is life, but this is an aspect of your being. This is something you desire to do. Now, if you don't want to play D&D, don't force yourself to do it. But it's not even make time for it. It's just we play D&D.
Yeah, it's
on Mondays.
It's carved out on that time.
Yeah,
there.
In the evening. And if you're someone who can't handle schedules or you don't want to be bound by that, then that's not for you. And we will keep playing it at that time.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber. I forget his name. He's like the Dungeon Crafter or something. Mm-hmm. He's a tabletop RPG guy.
Yeah,
and I think he's late 40s, mid 50s, somewhere in there. And he was saying, I've been a DM for 40 years. We have never had a single reason to cancel a game last minute.
Yeah.
So you can always make a plan. You can always, and people in the comments are like, no, you clearly don't have children. So, no, I have 2 kids. You've got to make a plan. You've got to stick. And obviously disasters do strike, but
marriages happen.
Yeah. But you can plan, like, I'm sure the marriage happens, you don't plan the day before unless it's a shotgun wedding or something.
Yeah.
And so almost like, you get a marriage once in your life. Your kid gets sick. Your parents die. Like, you get 5 or so, like, easy outs. But it's like, oh, my boss called me in for an extra thing. It's like, I mean, and if you have that kind of job, maybe you can't do this game.
Well, so we used to do this online game I played with a friend of ours 2 friends of ours and some other people. And there's this one guy who seemed to be beholden to these clubs. It's like, oh, they changed the club meeting around, so I had to go to like this school club thing.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't be the person that's playing D&D in this style, right? Like,
yeah, well, I had 2 thoughts on this. But one is like, you can't be playing like this. But the other was, oh, D&D is not important. This is more important. I can go, like, I can put off D&D. It's like, you've made this commitment to other people.
Yeah, you get to...
It's not this extra thing you can dismiss.
I want, like, there's all sorts of little workarounds and solutions and whatnot you can do, but, like, you know, you can play like Gygax did, where the DM is a permanent fixture and time advances whether or not the players are there.
That's what we're doing. Like, I let them know. It's kind of harsh in some ways, but the person who was off-game married has gotten less experience than the rest of the party, and he hasn't gone into the dungeon. And
you've had no experience.
But actually, he is now behind in experience to the party. I am not going to catch him up. I'm not going to give him
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it really, like, you can do all the workarounds, but it's really like, what do you want to do? Do you want to have these clubs that do this thing, or do you want to play D&D? Like,
yeah.
And yeah, like a marriage, obviously, it's like, yeah, as long as he's not getting married every other week.
Yeah.
But if that's what he wants, and if the guy's like, yeah, I really like these clubs, like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this D&D. Maybe you're doing a different drop-in, drop-out D&D that works that way, but this one, like, or maybe it does. But yeah, that's, and I think that is very much, I want to do it all, I want to schedule it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty tidy place to wrap up, I think, if you're...
Sure.
Okay.
Never answer the original question.
Oh, which magic item?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll end with that then. We'll end with that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's end with that.
And we get rid of wishes. And then, so the question was, though, actually, do you want health or do you want...
Something exciting.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. Something that you couldn't otherwise have.
Yeah. Because even the dripper it gives you money.
Yeah, the ring that drops rings. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with that is it's adding more gold into the economy, and so it'd be like, but it's such a small amount, it probably won't notice.
And these are magical items. It doesn't mess with the economy. It makes you rich.
Yeah. So the pants.
Maybe not.
They just sound kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the Icelandic people.
I mean, in what we set up, you would just get the pants. You wouldn't have to do all that.
Yeah, but...
You would be stuck with, though, you can't take them off.
And they're, like, made of skin.
Yeah.
No, I don't want those pants, no.
Yeah, so do you want an ordinary life that is better, or do you want an extraordinary life that is strange?
But also can just be your regular life, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like getting the peach, or getting the medicine.
Mm-hmm. Because
or you could get the Helm of Hades, and then you could sneak into the women's washroom.
Well, we spent most of the podcast talking about novelty, and even though the question was about magic items, and I think that actually does give an answer, which is, as far as I'm aware, these magic items aren't going to be given to me.
Yeah.
In real life, and I am okay with my life as it is, continuing as it is, which means that I don't need the extraordinary to make this life worth living, right? I don't need I don't need to fly, I don't need to teleport, I don't need to shoot lightning.
Yeah, you don't need the shoes of Hermes.
Yeah, like, my life is already livable, hopefully, because that's what I've got, right? And with that in mind, then something like the peaches or the pills does seem like the correct choice.
Yeah.
Like, health is... It's the boring answer.
Even the cauldron, you don't have to go grocery shopping anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, just...
like, you could throw a potluck and everyone would get food.
But that said, gathering food, hunting, or grocery shopping is an experience. And, like, you know, now I never have to run into people at the grocery store. Now, like, that is an experience that you don't want to just throw away, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm very hesitant about anything that takes away from an aspect of life. It's like, it'd be so convenient. And convenience is the death of little miracles.
Yeah.
That just little tiny miracles that happen all the time. Like you swerve around a squirrel and drive into the grocery store. It's just, I don't know. It's a different...
That said, though, I would be happy to never have a cold.
Well, I think...
And also, like, never getting bitten by mosquitoes again.
That which is labeled as... How would that be? The conveniences. The things that we label conveniences. Like not having to go into the grocery store, not having to do a commute, not have... Like, they aren't necessarily inconveniences, right?
Yeah.
But I think inconveniences still do exist.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to tell what is and isn't an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I think poor health... there's a reason that the thing fortune tellers, genies promise... It's wealth, health, and love, right? Those are the three things that people want, really.
Yeah.
They want health, wealth, and love, and they don't even really want wealth that much, except for that it gives them love and health.
Yeah.
And safety, I guess. Maybe it could be a fourth in there. But safety is more of a... I don't want to lose my love, health, and wealth.
One of the best feelings is waking up in the morning and not feeling pain. And then you move and all of it comes back. But for like that few seconds, you don't have any pain.
So I think...
That's why dreams are so seductive a lot of times. You don't have the pains you had in dreams. I mean, unless your pain is quite serious, then you dream with your pain and that gets weird.
No, I have pain in my dreams, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, like, it can be affected. Like, the bureaucracy. I was very, very sick. And so that's probably a reflection on that.
I think...
Did you, see that?
Well, we were going to end with the thing, right? I think my one hesitance with a pill is that it's kind of...
Cheating?
Yeah, it's like too much at once, you know? Like, I think it's kind of in that wish category almost, where it's not really a magic item. It's like and that's the problem with the peach even. It's not a magic item, right? It's a medicine. It's a cure-all. So, give me like a girdle of health or equivalent, you know, like the
Green Knight's belt?
Yeah, or like the Dagda's club to whack myself with whenever I've got a cold. Depending on how bad the cold is.
All right. So, this is what you gotta do, right? You hit me with this big end, and you might hear some cat scream in the distance. But then what you need to do is you flip it over, you tap me with the other end, and then you go into the back alley and you tap all those cats. And can you do this for me?
I'm counting on you here. I think so. With that in mind, like a more, what is strength is it's like the belt of Thor. Is that health? Like you wear this, it makes you super strong.
Well, it makes you super strong.
Yeah, but that strength is kind of health, right?
Yeah.
Like it's sort of, and if it multiplies your strength, then you know you're still doing everything you do. You just do it better, which I think is that's kind of fun.
Nemean lion skin.
Yeah, I wonder though.
The armor of Achilles.
Oh yeah, like his face just his armor. Yeah, the golden armor of Achilles.
Yeah,
not just him being naked.
No, it's the pants, but you do it with Achilles.
Yeah. Ugh. That's the Nemean lion skin, basically.
Yeah. If you're taking away the mess, and I might go for the dripper.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I think wealth, you would very quickly be like, I could have done this some other way.
Yeah.
Like, I could have taken the item that let me fly, and I could have made money off of that.
I could have fed everyone.
Yeah. Or like, well, no, people.
That's not the point of the cauldron, though. You feed your host.
Well, also, I don't want, like, you don't want to. I don't want a power, at the very least. I don't want a power that anyone can ask me to share.
Yeah.
I think that would be a nightmare.
All right, I'm taking the pill.
It would be like something like the pill or the peach.
Yeah.
But if it had to be an item,
I'm going to call them an item.
I'm trying to think of an equivalent somewhere. The crown of stars that is worn by the Lady of the Lake, I think, makes you eternally youthful and healthy.
Just drink from the Holy Grail.
But, well, that kills you.
No.
It sends you straight to heaven. I think. Well, actually, I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Like a guaranteed ticket to heaven.
I mean, okay.
Is the Holy Grail allowed?
It is allowed, but if we're going for the health thing, being kind of dumb, Arthur's sheath.
No, I don't. I thought about that, but I don't want it. It doesn't let you die.
Oh, right. You can keep bleeding. It gives you unlimited blood.
Well, no, it makes you unkillable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Sorry, when I first learned about it, it was described to me as it gives you unlimited blood. That's actually how it's described. So you could get cut all over and you won't die.
I mean, true, but yeah. No, it prevents you from dying. So I don't think that would be.
Yeah, Holy Grail's the item. You can take the shroud of Turin.
Now I'm not sure if the Holy Grail is a guaranteed ticket to heaven or it just kills you. But if you're pure, then you go straight to heaven. But yeah, no, the Crown of Stars.
Yeah.
Crown of Stars. Which I can't quite remember which myth that's from, but I think it might be the Lady of the Lake.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, I'm going to eat a pill. Because the pill's hard to eat.
The neat thing about the Crown of Stars, too, is...
well, I'll let you explain the Crown of Stars, and then I'll explain my thought behind the pill.
If you die, I believe you come back to life with the crown again. Like, you're just...
See,
forever youthful, forever healthy, forever king.
Here's the advantage.
It might have been given to a queen, but
Here's the advantage the pill has over the crown. Is someone might, ask for the crown, or you might give it away.
I don't think you can. Like, you've been crowned with stars.
Alright, so if you're crowned with stars, but that's my thing with the pill, is the...
Yeah.
It's a pill that's, It's a size of a baseball.
Yeah, yeah. The nice thing about the pill
Is you eat it and no one else gets it.
well, not that. I think something I would really not like about almost any superpower, like the pill would prevent this mostly, is people be like, yo, like even though they can't take my crown, right?
Yeah.
They'd be harassing me for my crown.
Yeah.
They'd be like, give me your crown. It's like, I can't. They'd be like, give it to me. And the governments would be taking you and dissecting you, but you have the pill, nobody's the wiser.
Yeah.
You're like, yep, just
And
ordinary.
if the government does take you, you walk out of wherever they take you.
Yeah.
They're not going
an
to...
ordinary citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the but if for some reason, whatever, it's like you get brought to a SPC facility
Yeah.
because like you've this crown or you've eaten this pill, you've eaten the pill, you get up and you walk out of the facility. They're not going to stop you.
Yeah. There's also is it? No, I wouldn't know that. I was thinking of it's like the necklace of Lancelot. I think it makes like anyone that looks at you think you're the most like handsome person on earth. But like everyone dies who looks at it or something like eventually. Like it's just one of those tragic things.
Actually, on the magic items, I was going to allow the eye of
Of Balor.
yeah, but that's the same thing as Zeus's thunder.
Yeah. And I don't have.
You don't have people you need to annihilate or.
I wonder with Zeus's thunder if you could annihilate like concepts.
Annihilate communism.
Or like the common cold, or like
Maybe
fear, or I think fear has its place, and I think communism probably has its place.
Well, it's the
In the gulag, that's where
it's the if you're a super atheist and you want everyone else to be atheists,
you can annihilate God.
no, so there's one religious person left. Would you convert them to an atheist? And a lot of times atheists answer, no, I won't. I'll leave that Oscars. But if you ask people, if you could get rid of every communist and turn them away, I think you would.
I think
there needs to be stupid people in the world.
I don't know. I think sometimes it seems like there's so many people that half of them aren't real people. They're just like I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the Chrono Stars.
I'll take the pill.
Yeah.
But not that pill. I'll take the pill of immortality.
Yeah, not the pill of exterminating all the communists.
I was thinking of the pill that you can't give birth.
Oh.
That's often referred to as the pill.
I was thinking of like the red pill, except instead of Jews or women, it's
No,
communists.
no, we almost did it. We almost did.
All right, Chrono Stars. Bye.